Hey, everybody, I'm Mike,
I'm Bob.
And I'm Tim.
and this
This
is Board
Board
Game
Game
Rundown.
Rundown.
Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. Board Game Rundown is in the house. How we doing, everybody?
Better now. Better now.
Yes.
Indeed. Indeed. We're being asked what we're drinking. Tim, do you have a fine selection of a
Ooh.
bottle there? Yes, Tim got gifted something. Oh, he's buffering. Oh,
Uh-oh.
no. The
Oh,
Black and
no.
Rye whiskey is a time warp. We went back in time a year and a half to when Tim's internet was ran by an underprivileged hamster. Oh, my
Feed those
goodness. Look
hamsters,
at this.
Tim.
I blame Jim Cole, who gifted Tim that whiskey. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Is not so much the Flash, is he?
You're back, Slim Shady. What's with that?
Hi, everybody. We're going to say hi to everybody. Jazz is in here.
Do all
Eric
those
is in the
things.
house.
I'm going to try something real quick.
We got Dave Rossi. We got Evan. Tim's going to make sure he's connected to the right router. We got both the Rossies. Oh, yeah. We got Wayne. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. I have some Woodford Reserve that I got to finish off, as you can see. So I'm going to work on that.
Nice.
Oh, he didn't buffer. It's not the rye whiskey. Whew. I thought Tim's modem was allergic to good whiskey for a second there is
That's
actually
funny.
what I thought.
I think I had like 17 windows open on my phone internet browser, so I was like, I'm going to close all of these really quick.
Yeah. I got some makers going.
Got to close all those X-Hamster links.
Yeah.
We're back from Gen Con, guys. We saw several of you there. Of course, this is going to be our Gen Con recap episode.
Oh.
We did have a booth again, but we weren't there as much. So we got a lot more flexibility in our scheduling this year, which I think we all agree was pretty nice, guys.
Yeah,
Just
that's
being
the way to
able
do
to
it.
go anywhere, everywhere, actually play games,
Right.
actually hit up food trucks, and enjoy our time in the exhibit hall.
The time that these demos that I played are going to save me from learning games out of rule books. Oh my gosh, dude. Like, totally.
Right?
I'm just
Dave,
trying to mess with my chords and doing all kinds of weird stuff.
Hey, Alicia's on her own device. We appreciate pumping our numbers.
Right?
Oh, she's safe.
Bye, Evan.
Hey, Evan's
Thanks for
leaving,
fixing
but
my arm.
I want to tell a quick. We'll start off with a quick story here. So, we're leaving the convention hall. I think it was Saturday, and we brought Karen Ola, who always works the Arcane Wonders booth, or at least has recently. And we're walking back to my car, and well, I forgot where I parked. So I was like, guys, stay put. I'll find my car. I'll come get you. And Karen hops in the passenger seat, and I'm still in neutral, but I'm like trying to open the hatch, and Bob tries to open it with his left arm, and apparently something popped.
It was my right arm, but yes.
Pain.
Yeah.
Apparently caused him a lot of pain.
Very
and
bad.
As you know, one of the many talents of Mr. Evan Halbert here, besides game design and singing and all this other crap that he does,
acting,
was like, oh, let me take a look at your arm, and like basically works his chiropractic wizardry on Bob's arm, standing in front of the Envy Board and Games booth.
Yeah.
Highlight of the show and the mad delight in Evan's face as he inflicted so much pain on Bob. Yet, when it was all done, the healing process had already begun.
It could begin, yeah.
How is your arm there, Bob?
I can pick stuff up. Some ways I can twist it, and I still kind of feel it a little bit. Like, it's still healing, but like, oh my gosh, dude! Like, I was so worried for work.
Yeah.
Like, not be able to like haul things around or whatever, but I've been okay. So
good. Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you again, Evan. You saved me a huge doctor bill.
Wizardry,
I was worried about it.
Indeed.
Yeah, I was really worried about it because, man, it was audible. Like, I heard it, and it hurt so bad I could not pick up anything with it. Like, yeah, it was a rough Rough
And
night.
all because Mike can't remember where he parks his damn vehicle, and then
Yep.
also can't put his
Unlock.
car in park
Yep.
so that he can unlock his vehicle properly.
Mine beeps at you. Like if you try to unlock it, it doesn't actually unlock it. It'll go beep, 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 beep. And so you know to put it in park, hit unlock, and then you hear it unlock.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's like, no, it's unlocked. I'm like, all right. Oh, thinking it was just heavy and stuck, you know. But anyways.
Dang it. I tried to let Sushi out before we stream, thinking she'll do what she needs to do.
No.
But no. She never does. She's barking at me
She's holding
already.
it.
So give me a second.
Listen, listen.
Yeah, dude, I felt so useless, like trying to carry stuff to the car, like transfer stuff between cars, like bring stuff in from my house. It was a disaster. But thankfully, I had some friends around to help me each step, and it worked out okay. So
Yeah, I mean, it was really tough because we had a couple of like weird things happen this con, which were like super bummers. But then we also had a very amazing and productive con at the same time. It's just sort of like the universe insists on like balancing out.
Balancing it out.
Yeah, you're like, well, you had some really awesome stuff happen. So now, Bob, your arm's jacked. Tim, your car's gone. I'm still waiting for something to happen to Mike. So, Spencer got COVID.
Spencer got COVID.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I was saying. Best/worst con. Like
the good thing is, I don't think anything good happened to Dan. So, like, nothing bad has to happen to him.
Sure. Yeah.
The universe works in wicked, wild ways.
It does. Now, I got to ask you guys. I don't know about y'all, but this year, like, especially, I was feeling it more than I think I do a little bit every year, but I was certainly feeling it this year. Not so much like Sunday, but more like Monday through today, of almost like this postpartum depression from being at Gen Con and then going back to my day job, which isn't bad by any means, but like the thrill of like networking and making all of these connections at Gen Con, which I just so passionately love, and like engaging with people. And then you come back home. I will tell you a really funny story very quick. So those of you who know West Todd, the Mingo, he rode down with us. He stayed with us and brought him back. When we pulled into my driveway, it was West and I, and Bob was already at my house because he needed to pick up Winston. My kids were outside waiting, and then as we pull into the driveway, they're jumping up and down and cheering, which was really cute. They were just very excited. I missed them, immensely, and I was really happy for that. And then I gave West a hard time. I'm like, what kind of father are you if your children aren't in your driveway cheering for you as you as you pull in, triumphantly returning home from battle. So I'm driving West back to his house. It's like a 15-minute drive from my house. And he's like on his phone, and we're chit-chatting and stuff, having a nice time. And then when we pull into his neighborhood, he perks up and he looks. And his 3 kids are standing outside waiting by the driveway. And as we pull in, they're all just standing there. And he rolls down the window and is like, you guys need to be jumping. You need to be jumping. So he had messaged and had his kids outside. So
of course he did.
Because he is not at all competitive, right?
Yeah,
right.
Of course
And then he said, technically, Tim, I won because I have 3 kids and you only have 2.
Right, but the excitement level of your 2 was higher than the excitement level of his 3.
I feel like they kind of were, but listen, I appreciated.
You didn't use the meter,
the applausometer, yeah.
The applausometer.
But I loved that happened. It was so funny, just like a really quirky,
nice cap, like cherry on top.
Cute little cherry on top. It was very fun. And we're very lucky to be able to call him a friend. He's a very cool guy. Lots of stories. He and I just talked. We talked board game stuff. We talked all kinds of stuff on the way back. And Bob knows when I ride with you in a car, I'm there for the conversation.
Right. We're chatting.
It makes the ride go by so much faster. We're just talking and we're telling stories. We're having a great time. And Alicia, I thought you were just like a full-time all-star board game designer. Are you still have a day job?
That's not the
That's
case,
the
huh?
day job.
No, I'm with you there too, Tim. There's this hot I talked about it in our Gen Con preview video. There's this high I get from, the networking and people recognizing us and, establishing new relationships with new publishers and coming home. It's like I find myself putting like more time into the channel. You know, like just working on stuff on the back end that'll help us in the long run. Like this Instagram page that we set up. You like that segue?
I did.
So
That was solid.
Pretty good.
if you are, this was Bob and I have been pushing this for a while. So the three of us have access to this. So this is not exclusively one of us. All of us will be contributing to this Instagram page. So if you are on the gram,
Oh no.
make sure make sure you check out our very lit IG page. It's just board game rundown, no spaces.
It's all on
We're
fleek.
already
No
having
spaces,
a
double
lot
RP.
of fun.
Yeah.
We're already having some fun with it. So I'm looking forward to more short form content, more memes, and just finding other ways to connect with people. So it's going to be a
Mike's
blast.
life is all about some short form content.
Hey yo. Yeah. we got we got all the good things happening over there. No, it's exciting, Mike. I'm really glad that you that is how you dealt with your post Gen Con come down there. So what a way to go.
Fire. Yeah.
What a way to do it. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool to be able to run around and build up, reinforce, make new relationships, build up relationships, getting to I don't know, just so there's some of you that like I got to meet kind of briefly and I got to see more and talk to more, and spend some time with. And like Ammon, there's Ammon. I was messaging him today. He had a 23-hour car ride home because flights were canceled.
Wow.
And what's crazy is that dude is so flippin' nice that it is unreal.
Yeah. And so what he ended up doing, he ended up stopping at like those Barnes and Nobles and like doing signings and stuff. Like,
yeah,
that was crazy. I saw him posting on like Facebook or wherever that he was stopping at the Barnes and Nobles. That's awesome. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Really
He's super sweet. He's just a wonderful human being. And yeah, I'm really glad, like the Bettingers and, like all of these people, Dave and Diana, like I get to call them friends and it's really exciting.
And they haven't sued you yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
But yeah, I mean, just having a really good time. There was a funny thing. I want to tell this story really quick also, because there's a reason why we probably don't get invited to things. So we were at, should I wait until we get to the charcuterie soiree to tell this story, or should I just tell it now?
No,
Or we got to start Wednesday and just work our way through?
That's what I thought.
Okay,
so
let's do that.
Your day like Wednesday. Oh, nice.
I missed that somehow.
What was your Gen Con experience on Wednesday, Mike? Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. So you guys got down there nice and early.
Nice.
You guys got to see people on day 0.
Yeah.
Which actually led to my first 2 memes of Gen Con. Oh, what the heck was that?
I think my dog is rolling his bone around upstairs.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sure.
That's
yeah, so that led to my no, that's not what I'm trying to
No.
Spoilers, don't look.
That's the gram.
Yeah, that's not what we're going for. We're going for something else. Here we go. I got to switch what I'm sharing. And now I got to switch over to my photo folder. What the heck?
Doing it live, folks.
Yeah, we are doing it live. What in the world?
Watch Mike struggle with technology. We need a song for this. Somebody better than me.
I have
make
too
it
many
sound.
things to share here, and then we got to switch over here. All right, there we go. So there I am, seeing the guys already like at the convention center doing fun thing. I don't know if they were doing fun things, but they
Oh,
were
we
there,
were.
and I was not. I was working my longest day.
Mm.
So I started there and then ended up here. And I'm like, hey guys, are we gonna? You asked for my Wednesday experience. I worked. It was very busy because it was our anniversary sale. I actually did not think I would get out on time and that I'd be there late. And so I'm like at 2:30, hey guys, if we're gonna stream at 8 o'clock, we should probably let people know. And then a little later, hey guys, if we're gonna stream at 8 o'clock, we should probably decide by 7:30. And then my ETA at the convention center is like 7:30. So I am basically like getting parked. I'm like, okay, we should probably figure out what's going on. Nobody says anything. So, all right, guys, let me know where I gotta go. And they're like, okay, meet us in the food court over by the first exposure hall. And they started a 2 hour game of Commander.
Hold on.
15
Hold
minutes.
on.
No holding. I told you guys that I was parking and you guys started a 2 hour game of Commander right when I got there. So I get to the food court and I sit there and I sit there and I'm still sitting there. And then I go to the bathroom and they're still playing Commander. And then I walked over the first exposure hall, which was closed, and they're still playing Commander. And so I sat there for 2 hours while the
Magic
guys
the
played
Gathering.
Commander.
Just so
Magic.
everybody knows. Yeah.
So that was my Wednesday. I watched the guys
I
play.
feel like we started before you got there.
We definitely started before you got there. Here's the
It just ended up
thing.
being a long game.
Here's the thing. First of all, I have never lasted more than like 15 minutes in a game of Magic with Bob. So usually Bob has it all cleaned up 15 minutes. So
I was trying not to be a dick, and I was playing my nice deck.
you were. Also, we were playing with Spencer.
You were playing the Mike sit there deck. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely more reactionary, but yeah.
So
Tim did get to kill me.
I did. I really wanted to. Yeah, Dan's not mad about it.
Dan's not mad about it.
Wow.
Dan ended up winning that game, I think. It was kind of interesting because there was like 4 of my own decks against each other, so it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Spencer loves dinos, so I gave my dinosaur deck. He seemed to have fun beating the crap out of us for a while. But then Dan plotted and schemed, and the squirrels came back to win.
I ain't mad.
Yeah.
I ain't mad. Okay, so let's tell the real story of day 0 then. So we get up early, we load up vehicles, and we all head out on the road. We get down to Indy. It's around noon. We go, we get our badges, and we start running around the hall during setup and just kind of seeing some of our friends, saying hi to people. It's hot as hell in there. It's miserable. And then we get a message. Well, we'd sort of in advance, Andrew Stiles, designer of Wine Cellar and many other upcoming games, a well-known class act in the hobby and in the industry. And he's like, hey man, you guys want to do lunch when you get in town? I'm like, yes, we do. So we kind of run around till like 1 o'clock. We, Andrew's like, where are we having lunch? So I have to pick like a nice place that I know that Dan and I will still eat at because we have the palates of children.
They have chicken tenders on the menu or not?
So we went to O'Reilly's Irish Pub, something like that. A couple blocks.
Auto parts store?
Yep.
We did.
Couple blocks away from the convention center, but not too bad. It was a walk, but not too bad. And they had amazing fish and chips. We had a few drinks. Andrew treated us, which was totally unexpected, but very nice of him. And we all had a good laugh. And then we saw a sign about there being Malort served in this bar. And so West is like, well, we've all got to do shots of Malort. And Andrew said, I'll buy them, but I'm not doing it.
That should have been our first clue.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So even Dan was in on it, which was super fun.
Yeah.
Photo.
And did I send you the Malort photos, Mike?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there's a great series of photos. You got to get those up, like a Tale of Malort, and put those on some Instagram.
Yeah,
or
I'm
collage
assuming
there.
Andrew has them.
He
Yeah,
does.
probably
He
does.
does.
Ask him for that.
But
They're-
so we all did this shot of Malort. I'm really glad that built it up to be horrible in my head because it was not as horrible. I also made a point not to smell it first. It was just down the hatch.
What did he compare it to? Like Everclear and Shoe Shine or something?
Yeah,
like that?
something like that. Yeah. So we once
fool me once. Shame on you.
Won't get fooled again.
Won't get fooled again. That's for sure.
But anyway, so it was fun. We had a good time. Then we walked back over to the convention center. Played a few games. Right? What did we do? We saw some people. We played a few games. Yep. And then we're actually getting ready to set up to play We're Sinking, and then we were told that demo hall was going to close at like 8:00, and we're like, "This sucks."
It was an early night for that. Yeah.
Because like literally, I had the game set up. I was getting ready to like
there, and then
getting ready to give everybody the rules, and then hey, you guys got 5 minutes. We're like, damn it. Dan's a deeply closeted alcoholic. Okay, because I've seen Dan drink like twice, and both times were at Gen Con. One was on Spencer's birthday last year, and then it was this time.
Yep. So yeah, he just like he gets drunk when he thinks about Spencer being born. So
right, no doubt. So then we relocate. We find some tables in the food court. There was not really room to set up We're Sinking, so we decided to play Commander because we figured that'll be fast, and Mike will be here any minute. So we start playing Commander. Mike shows up.
Oh, fast.
Mike shows up, and then Mike and West show up, and then they leave for dinner. And then Andrew Styles, our hero, shows up again, and he goes, "Hey guys, would you guys be down for like a bourbon testing?" And we're like, like tasting. Classy. Yeah, because it's classy. And we're like, yeah. So we find a place discreet, which then we will not reveal.
We won't reveal where it is, but we snuck to someplace.
Where it is.
In the convention center.
Everything was above board, maybe.
Closed room.
In the convention center. And we then Andrew, it was really cool. Like he pulled out these little cups and he had these nice little bottles, and we did this bourbon tasting with him. And then there was a Greek brandy.
Yes.
That one I could not do. I mean, I did it, but it burnt. Yeah. It was the one that I went like that. Yeah. Everything else I was very good with. Yeah. And it was really cool. It was just like a really nice experience because someone like him, like he's describing, like what to expect, you know what I mean? And giving you the description. And it was just a very cool experience.
He was a sommelier, so he knows his palate is pretty refined. Like he likes to taste all those notes and this and that. And yeah, it was nice to, cause I haven't done anything like that since my LaSalle Grill days. So that was a good time. So
it was really cool and very, very, very nice of him to do that. He did not have to do that. But for him to do that with us was pretty awesome. And then after that, we went back down to the lowly food court area, and then we played a couple of his prototypes, which I had a really good time with. And
the Tulips game.
Yeah, we did play the Tulips game. I like the Three Little Pigs game.
Three Little Pigs a little better.
I like that one better. The Tulips game was fun though.
Sure. But I like that. I prefer the Tulips game, but I could see like you get the Three Little Pigs game played with your kids.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the theme of that one was just way more. It was landing.
Involved. Yeah.
It was way more integrated into the game itself.
For sure.
But it was just again really cool. I find it like it's like an honor for a designer to sit down and share, like things that they love and then their prototypes with us. I mean, there's probably 100 other people he could have been hanging out with, and he hung out with us, and it meant a lot. It was very cool. Yeah. And then Mike and Wes showed up from dinner, and we were like, we need to get the hell out of here. So Mike and Wes went and did a tasting. And I believe we left, right? Didn't we leave right around then?
Yeah, then after that, we ended up leaving. Yes, Alicia, we did actually play with West, but according to Andrew, he fixed whatever Wes was doing wrong with the game.
Oh,
and
yeah,
related it
yeah,
to people. So he kind of he made it better. He fixed it. Cause that's what designers do. Someone breaks their game, they say, "Thank you for showing me that," and they fix it and make it better.
Never again.
That's right. Never
Yeah,
again.
Wes showed up, said he was hungry, and as the resident fat guy of the group, I was like, "Oh, I also could eat." So we went to Low Miller's, and I think I had a brisket sandwich that was pretty good.
Mhm.
And Wes got like their specialty burger. I had a beer naturally. It was a Foggy Geezer. I forget who makes that. War Pigs Foggy Geezer is what I got that night. Yeah, I came back. You guys were still playing Magic. Not really.
Oh God.
But
You don't have to, but it definitely helps.
oh yes, Eric. Yes. I forgot to tell you you need to bring some for Grand Con or I won't touch your prototype. So
Wow. Damn, Mike. Also, he
I'm
is the
just-
resident fat guy, so better be food too.
well, yeah, that helps.
One of the
Well,
other things we did on Wednesday, Tim, was we got to play Panda Royale.
Oh yeah, we did play that with West in the double
Yeah.
exposure room.
Yep.
Yes, I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I feel like it could be very swingy with the red dice mechanic. Like I never got
Yes.
it to work, but like he was saying, like, oh yeah, one turn you can get like 400 points if you get the multipliers and this and that. Like it could be very swingy, and it's just like colored dice, which to an extent I had a little bit of a hard time with, which is why I was going for those funny enough red ones because they were easy to delineate which ones were the red ones. And yeah, like the light pink, the clear, were and the purple. I don't know, we're all kind of hard to distinguish for me. But you guys would just tell me what I had and be like, okay, and I wrote it down.
Sounds good. Yeah, I thought it was a really good game. I was a little disappointed when I saw the price of it because it's a lot of dice. It was kind of expensive for what it was, but
Right, it's a lot of dice.
it is a lot of dice. But it was cool. I thought it was really neat. I'm glad he showed it to us. And then we played a couple of Evil Dead 1%, which is
Evil Dead
technically
2,
a prototype.
1%. Yeah,
1%. It's technically a prototype that we have, but
You'd never be
you
able
can,
to tell.
yeah. And it was really fun. And I just like playing that game. I like the bluffing aspect of it. And
Correct. No, there are 12 chainsaws.
And it's a great like time killer. You know, there it is. Hey yo.
Yeah. Doesn't take
it's
very
a great
long
little
to
time
play.
killer.
And I don't know why. I mean, maybe because I just like the movies better. But like to me, literally slapping this theme on makes the game at least 1% more enjoyable.
Hey yo.
Oh, see what you did there.
So,
But yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
That was very cool. That was kind of Wednesday, right? We didn't play any games. We got back to the room. We crashed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was like a lot of making sure everybody was all set. You know,
Yep.
West had a hole in his air mattress, so we were trying to fix.
Yeah, poor guy.
I was.
Yeah. And then making sure that Mike was watching you guys play Magic.
Well, I was hoping you were picking up, some tips and tricks so that next time I won't have to actually teach you how to play. You can just play.
Oh, wow.
Were you not paying attention?
Dang.
Ooh,
Dang.
Definitely not.
Wow. See how it is.
He was definitely not paying attention.
That's
I
true.
was not paying attention.
It did get
That
to a
was-
point though where
that
like
was
after you got
passive
there, I was trying
was-
to wrap it up, but my deck was not aggressive, so like I was having a hard time doing it. Spencer should have just kept swinging with those dinos because I think that's what cost him the game is the not swinging. You got to keep swinging. Your deck wins by dealing damage, so deal the damage.
Always got to be swinging.
Yeah.
Yep. He said he had fun though because
Oh,
he does get a
that's
lot
just-
of big crazy dinos out fast.
Yeah. Yeah, he did have a good
so Thursday.
Thursday was a hell of a day.
So dang it, why does it keep opening?
Oh my gosh.
So this was actually, I'm sort of adding pictures as we go, actually, but this was
Okay.
walking into the convention center, the Fearsome Four here, strolling in on day one, bright and early too. We got there like right around 8:00.
Yep. Just
Yeah.
after. Mhm.
Every day.
Yep.
Every day I was there from Thursday on.
Or
at
8:30.
about-
Yeah.
Yep.
So I know where I went first. Tim, where did you go first?
Our booth.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't do that.
Oh no, wait. Did I go see Googs first? Maybe I went and saw Googs first.
I know I went and saw Googs first. I think I was solo at that point.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
we
we split
swung
up.
by the booth, but he wasn't there yet. First thing.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. We walked by, then we went to our booth, and then the
Yep.
first thing we did was go back over to see Googs.
Yep. First thing I did actually was we were booth neighbors with this really nice guy and designer.
Oh my gosh.
And he did Weirdwood Manor. And that game looks so cool with like a rotating board. I have bought one called the Daedalus Escape or Daedalus Project, something like that.
Yeah, the
That had a
Daedalus.
yeah. It had a rotating board. It wasn't great. This one though looks super cool, and like they had a few of the deluxe copies left with like the little scarabs and whatnot, and like depending on what you do, what cards you play, kind of like action selection, the board kind of moves, and then different doors will open, different doors will close, and then like you also adjust the time of day, and it looked really interesting. And yeah, like they sold up all their deluxe copies, and they sold a ton of their normal versions because that was fantastic. I was happy for them.
What's funny is, and I will say this, I recommend that everybody keep this in mind when you're at especially a Gen Con or an Origins, right? I believe it was Mini Market or somebody was selling.
Not Mini Market. It was somebody else, but yes.
Like Flat River Group maybe or something like that.
Maybe. It was right around that area.
Floodgate, one of them.
Floodgate, maybe.
They were selling Weirdwood Manor at their booth where they were selling, or their big area. It's not even a booth, right? It was a huge area. And they were selling like tons of all kinds of games. They were selling the regular edition for the cost of the deluxe edition. So if you, which we were lucky because we were his neighbor, but if you happened upon his booth, you would have found the deluxe edition for the same price you would have found the regular edition. And if you only wanted the regular edition, it would have been $20 cheaper.
Wow.
And you've been helping the designer and independent publisher more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
Accurate.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really cool. A wonderful neighbor. He was very nice. I got him to sign my rule book because I had taken the game home before I thought to get him to sign it. And also when I bought it, it was busy. Sure. We did go over on Wednesday. I don't know that there's a picture of this anywhere, but on Wednesday, Bob, one very fun thing we did without Mike is we went to the BA Games booth. They were not there.
Yep.
So we took a picture in their booth.
Oh.
Yeah, I took one of just me. I don't have one of both of us or anything, but I do have one of me. I've been doing that. Like every con I go to, I seem to show up when they're not there. So I always like take a picture of me in front of their booth. So, I tried,
I'm looking for that. I don't know who took that.
That'd be in my folder. I took one. Is there a group one?
There might be one. I think I sent him a group one.
Okay.
Because I sent it to Sam.
Oh, okay, nice. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Where the heck is that?
That's like because I think it was Origins or was it Gen Con last year?
Oh, there we go.
Sometime last year though, we took a picture. I took a picture of a bird that had landed on his forges.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
There we are.
Yeah, there it is.
Hey, we're all so happy and fresh.
That's a great picture.
It's
nice.
So good.
I am so glad they sold out. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, spoilers! Stick around.
Yeah.
Spoilers. I think there we go. Another nobody's there photo.
Nobody's there. Where are you guys?
Where are you?
Mm-hmm.
And then basically once the doors opened at 9, it was madness.
Oh, it got nuts instantly.
That was the busiest Thursday at Gen Con I've ever been to. It might have been the busiest single day of a Gen Con that I've experienced. That day felt so busy. It was busier. It was as busy as a Saturday normally is. Mm-hmm. And it was definitely busier than the Saturday was this year's Gen Con. Oh, is it 10, Eric? Oh my gosh. It felt, thank you.
Well, didn't 9 a.m. some of the like VIGs or whatever?
Oh, the VIGs get to come in, I thought.
Yeah. And like, I know like I was able to get a bunch of games, but I tell you what, I really had a bunch of fun running around to all the booths for your sister and brother-in-law and trying to snag all of the hotness for them that I couldn't afford. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. So you kind of got that cathartic.
Yeah. I'm like, I still get to buy it, but I don't have to pay for it. Oh, I don't get to hold on to it. But it was fine. I still had that, the little rush of.
Oh, that reminds me. They owe me for cities.
Heck yeah. Oh, give me one of those. Oh, give me one of those too. Yeah. was a good time.
They still owe me for cities. I forgot.
Oh no.
That's all right.
Let's see. After I went to the Third World Studios booth, my first stop after that was swung by Arcane Wonders. We said hi to Chris and Karen. And then I went to AEG, which were my first two purchases, which was Nocturne and the Cubitos expansion.
Nice.
Which they're very kind of unsure about the availability of that retail. Like they're saying they're not going to sell that like at online stores or FLGS's for a while, and it's only going to be available on the AEG website for a while. So I'm like, okay, I am picking up that
Yeah.
expansion, and then I snagged Nocturne. And then I remember after that sneaking over by our booth, which I do have some photos of our booth. So a very different setup this year. You
Yeah,
can of
pretty
course
small.
see our studio back there, which was really just an interview spot. But our store owner, where we film our show, basically was subletting the booth. So we had people selling dice, 3D printed cool stuff. We
Now
were
that 3D
selling
printed cool
rundown,
stuff was stuff
Art.
that he makes from the
Yep.
store.
Yep.
right?
Awesome.
Rundown shirts. And then after that, we went over to Envy Born Games, and Tim got his fanny pack signed.
I did. We pranked him a little before we did it with a fake loaf of bread that was given to me by Googs.
What would have been funny if you would have like taken that picture and then just pixelated the bread out.
Right. Yeah, we should have done that.
Yeah.
We should.
I didn't
we
know
had
anything about this bread.
We had the bread strategically placed.
Located. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
While we were there, I bought a second fanny pack because I'm too fat for the Envy Born, the Tiny Game Series fanny packs. So I bought a second one, strapped them together, and now I'm dual fanny packing. And it's now my pen holder.
I did accuse Matt of intentionally making the fanny packs too small to make larger people have to buy two as like a sales ploy. But
yeah. Yep. That's
accurate.
Awesome. I think
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think like shortly after they opened, Tim, didn't we go do a demo? Wasn't that Thursday? We were walking around looking for something to do, and we ended up playing a demo. So I'm pretty sure Friday's when I picked the game up myself.
Oh, so we must have played Loot on Thursday.
Yeah.
From Hachette Games. We had this French gentleman teach us. And it was really interesting because it potentially, if he didn't have like he had a fun personality at least.
Andrew
Andrew
missed all the Wednesday night stuff.
All the Wednesday amazing things.
We talked about the tasting and the guys.
We just talked about how you made us feel like kings, and you, sir, are a king for doing that.
Yes.
That's the short version of it.
Yeah, and Andrew, if you don't mind sending those Malort pics like to Mike or myself so that we can get them uploaded like a story of Malort, I think that'd be pretty funny because that was an awesome experience, and I thank you for helping facilitate that.
Yeah.
Wait. What's wrong with Hachette?
Oh no, yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. I was getting Andrew
nice.
Send them, so give me a second. Yeah, I'll find them.
Slacker Mike then just couldn't find them. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, Slacker Mike gathering all of these photos for everybody's view.
The people's Mike.
The people's Mike.
The people's Mike.
Drop the ball, Sky Team. Yeah, they ended up selling out of those. They had quite a few. Like I sent Mike a video of this beautiful like twist stack they had, and I was actually talking to the head lady that works there, and when she interviews people, she asked them like, well, do you know how to set up a display? Do you know how to spiral games, this and that? And she'll like have them demonstrate their skills for her before they hire them on. I think that's really cool because they always do a really good job like setting their booth up with these spiral boxes of games and whatnot, and the Sky Team really pretty. It lent itself with the color pattern on the box to like spiraling really well.
You
And,
can't see colors. That's a lie.
it's orange and yellow and white. Okay, I'm all right. I can tell the difference between orange and white. We're good. But yeah, it's unfortunate that they sold out for you, and you weren't able to get a copy. That game is so good.
So, anyways, normally when somebody is like demoing a game, in my opinion, it should be that person's job to encourage and cultivate like the best possible experience for the people sitting at the table. This gentleman was clearly trying to beat us. Okay, so isn't there a shot before this, Mike?
Yeah, there was one right before this.
Nope,
Okay.
this is the first one.
There should be 3.
Yeah,
there are. The rest are after.
Okay.
No, there's one before, and there's one during, and one after.
Well, if you want to go into those messages and find those and post them, you may, but they do not exist.
I'm just saying I'm not going to be corrected on that. I will tell you that there are 3. So this is during, obviously. Andrew is very pleased with himself because he knows that we are.
What's about to ensue? Yeah.
What's up, nerds?
We talked about it a little bit, but we might recap that when we get to the day it happened.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Okay, so Mike, you can go to the next picture.
Oh, why did it put?
It's like when they take pictures a moment before a catastrophe, you know?
Yeah, I don't understand why it put these out of order. It's very strange. I specifically saved these in order. I don't want to give you the Inception screen, so give me a second.
Okay, so I'll go back to the story of our playing loot. So we're playing. So this guy is teaching us loot, and he is very clearly. He taught the game very well.
He did.
He taught the game very well.
He got the teacher award.
He did. He did. It was funny because Bob forgot to do something. Bob's like, "Oh, hey, I forgot to do this." And Bob, what did he say?
He said, "Wait, too bad."
Too bad. It's just, yeah. It looked like he needed to. He like for a second, it was like tick, tick, tick. English translation. Here's Primalort.
Primalort.
Everybody's good. Everybody's happy as he gets.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's like, this is going to be amazing. Andrew's like, this is going to be fucking amazing. And this is during.
There we
and
go.
Andrew's like, oh, this is going to be so amazing.
And hold.
There we go.
And then,
there it is.
Mike, can you zoom in?
Like left to right, Dan's like, okay, that just happened. Tim's like,
the closet alcoholic Dan over here barely reacting. Like barely reacting. Look at this man, stone cold. He's like, I mean, he's taking this like a champ for a guy that doesn't even drink.
That's right.
Taking it like a champ.
Like
now, Tim, on the other hand,
I'm very excited. I was refusing to show pain.
That's right. This is fine. Everything's fine.
That's the same face that Bob was making while Evan was working on his arm.
This is good.
What's really funny is that Bob didn't have that gray streak before we took the shot, and then right after that gray streak.
It's aged me.
Go back to me and Wes really quick though. This, if you look at, I say that's the face Bob was making while Evan was working on his arm. Mm-hmm. Also, Evan, this could have been Evan. Like if you look at my face and that maniacal grin, that could have been Evan's face, and then that near tears that Wes is showing was also Bob's face. It was so good.
Meanwhile, Dan's like, I don't know what your guys' problem.
Yeah, he's like, what's
Dan's kind of like deal? They just asked me to play a trick taker.
Now wait a minute.
Oh no.
Does Tim have a drinking problem? Did he spill some on his shirt here? Did he not drink at all?
Probably.
That could have been some of my Smithwick's. That could have been drool coming out of my face.
Analyze that shirt and see what that substance is.
Enhance. Get that Notre Dame logo in there.
Enhance. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Well done, Mike.
Way better.
Still see the green, baby.
That's okay. The internet can take care of that.
And then yeah, Andrew was laughing immediately after because you get the evolution left to right. Like it's not great, it's bad, it's awful, and it's like the worst thing.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Was that my audition for Bad Ape and Planet of the Apes, Tim? I think so.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Just that's a story we'll always have.
Yep.
Malort in a
awesome.
nutshell. And I missed
Okay,
it.
now back to Loot. Okay, so Loot, this guy, well, now, he's ruthless. He's teaching us the game. There's another fella sitting next to us that we did not know. He was a pretty nice guy. And, Bob and I are kind of like cracking jokes because that's what we do when we play games. We're like saying the 7 French phrases and words that we know just to gauge our pronunciation, with our teacher. And this guy is like really, really, really trying to
He was
win.
really trying
to win. And I'm just like, I know how to play this game now. So I'm just taking turns because it's a demo and who cares?
Right.
And this guy's like really trying to win. And Bob sees that this guy's trying to win. And Bob's like, well, I'm going to try to win. Because I'll give Bob credit. He has gotten better about just playing a game. It's not always great, but he's gotten better. But if somebody gets his Irish up a little bit, he's going to go after him.
Hey, I was just taking turns. I wasn't even trying to min-max. I was just taking turns.
That's what Bob says. And then he beat the dude by like 20 points.
I mean, get good.
So oh, he is mad.
The game just really clicked with me. I mean, like that's why like they were already sold out that day. By the time we did that, I made a point to go back there the next morning, and I picked Loot up because it is really good. It's been played a bunch of times already. It's a good one. It's really good. And that wasn't the only game I picked up. I also picked up one of my favorite new designers, French guy, Fabien Gradel. We met them from Captain Games and whatnot.
Different French guy.
Different French guy. Yes.
Much nicer.
Chronologic is fantastic. Like if you like Turing Machine at all, it takes Turing Machine and it puts a theme on it that like you can wrap your head around. It's not like does circle plus triangle equals square. It's like, oh, well, when was the detective alone with somebody so that he could be poisoned and you're trying to figure out who killed him? It takes like a Clue and Turing Machine, and got some really great mechanics to it where like you ask it a question and then you're giving a public bit of information and then you get a private bit of information and you're just trying to deduce the who, where, and what. And it was fantastic. I played it twice now. And I had a good time both times.
I have a great story about that game that I'll tell when we get to Saturday.
Okay.
And I haven't played it yet. Oh boy. I picked up Rock Hard 77. Haven't even popped a shrink on it yet. I picked that up. I signed up for a demo for the next day for an Age Contrived, which I was I was at their booth and I was kind of like learning about the game and just seeing all of the stuff and I was very excited about it. I continue to be excited about it, but I was very excited on Thursday. What else did we do? Oh, and then Thursday after the show is kind of when stuff like really got fun, but I will pause for anybody else.
That's mostly what I have for like during the day stuff. It was mostly like walking around, saying hi to people, greeting everybody, seeing what was out there, seeing what's hot and getting sold. I waited in line for arts for a while. I picked up my copy of Gnome Hollow, so that was awesome.
You got the plushie.
I got the plushie. He's up there. I don't think you can see him, but he's just out of camera, like right up there. He's looking over everything going on the table.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was right around when we snuck back to the op booth to say hi to Ammon and just see how many people would be there to pick up Gnome Hollow.
Oh my gosh.
It was one of the talks of the convention, and
3 hours
very quickly.
In 3.5 hours, they sold out on Thursday.
That's crazy. Thought I heard they had 1,200 copies, and they sold out of all of them.
Yeah, they.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I think they
whoops.
saved a few for each day, but they sold most of them on Thursday.
yeah,
But
everything that
then
they had
they were
Thursday,
all
they sold.
gone. Yep.
Everything they allocated for Thursday sold out in 3.5 hours.
Yep. And that was the bulk of it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I believe they sent people to drive to a warehouse and pick up several more cases of it
Wow. Nice.
because they weren't sure that they were. They originally didn't think they would need as many as they did.
Right. No, that's great. That's good for them.
Yeah, and it's great for the op too, right? That's a publisher that I have enjoyed for a while now, and I'm really glad to see them getting known for things other than just regular mass market games. I mean, Tapple is like one of the number one selling games in the world right now, and that's an op game. But that's that's a game that a lot of like snobby board gamers, myself sometimes included, would turn their nose up at, and it's and you shouldn't do that because that's a game that's important to a lot of people and it gets people into the hobby. And you can enjoy, there's room for both kinds in your life, right? And so, but to see them sort of break in even more and really like jam in there, get in there good with the hobby side and just have a rocking booth with a lot of attention. I am really happy for them. That's a really good crew
They
of
had a
people.
serious booth with that, like steps and everything for everybody to climb up there and stand on top. Like I think that was only like 2-tiered, maybe eBay. I don't know if you can get on top of the eBay stand.
Yeah,
like,
well, here's the thing though, is not anybody could just go up there though.
Sure, they had the red velvet rope, so you had to be special to get up there.
I got to go up there.
Ooh,
I got to go up there, but that's Sunday.
Oh, doesn't count.
Hey yo, there's a shot.
Look at him. You got to take a picture of the rope as he's let inside.
That's right before they kicked me down the steps. Like, get
what
out
are you
of
doing
here,
up here? And they kicked you out. Yeah, nice. I bet that was a cool. Did you take any other pictures for like of the whole view up there?
There should be one other one.
But maybe
it's
coming.
I didn't send
Don't
it.
worry, it's coming.
Maybe I didn't send it.
Oh, did you? Did Wes send you a folder of pics by chance, Mike?
I wish.
No,
I don't. I don't think he did.
Oh, that's too bad. That was one of the great running jokes of the con.
A folder? You mean 2 pictures?
When does the 3-hour Mike slideshow start? Jim told me it's the must-not event of the week. Cat, you are my spirit animal. That's hilarious.
Not that many photos this time. So yeah, after kind of going to pick up my sort of must buys, I actually did go. I went over to Cosmos because I wanted to try and pick up a copy of The Gang, and I was there a little bit before they actually opened it to everybody,
right?
And there was no line. And then I came back like 20 minutes later, and they were out. They were completely gone. And then I actually went back. They said they were going to have more copies at 2:30. So I went back at like 2:20. No line. I come back at 2:40. They're gone. So I had to come back the following day. I actually stood in line first thing Friday morning to get a copy of The Gang. But after the morning, I kind of branched off from the rest of the guys. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something that I have not done yet. So I went out to the food trucks and I ate my lunch on the 50-yard line of the stadium, the house that Peyton Manning built. And I chilled in there. It was quiet. It was nice. It wasn't that crowded. It was wonderful Thursday afternoon to just kind of chill in there for a little bit and eat my sandwich without, the heat bearing down on me. So that was what I did for a little bit during lunchtime. It was pretty nice.
Oh, I got the hookup of another picture, but
oh, nice. I was gonna say like I didn't do it Thursday, and I'll get into the game I played there later on when it becomes appropriate. But gaming down there, that was the first time I had done it too. And then it's such a nice space. It's so open. I mean, because that place is used to holding like tens of thousands of people in that one building. So they've got the air conditioning to handle a few nerds, and like It was really nice, big open space, didn't feel crowded at all, and it was actually a pleasure to game there. So that's awesome. I'm gonna do
It
more of
was.
that hopefully.
Oh, go on.
Justin, to answer that, hey, good to see you too, Mike. Always a pleasure, man.
The goods.
Yes, I actually hear that the Island Noodles is the most overrated truck.
Hey,
Um,
yo.
but I guess it depends who you ask. I have not tried it yet.
Mike said there was a truck that made fresh mini donuts, and that's where I ate at. That's like, yeah,
Yes,
that's pretty good
yes.
though. Yeah.
I think that was Friday when I went out there for that.
It was you, me, and Dan. It might have been Saturday.
It might have been.
I think
Yeah.
it was
But
Saturday because I saw you guys eating those donuts when I found you.
Yep.
So Thursday night we actually got to play some games.
We did.
Yeah, we did. Also, really was what I got to say something else really quick about Thursday before the show closes for Thursday. I swung by the Arc Knight booth, saw our buddy Jim Cole from
Nice.
everybody knows Jim, and he had this awesome little gift package for me. I had some dice for the kids. I had this amazing whiskey that I'm enjoying right now. There was a
buffering
beer
again.
Am I? Oh, it's the damn whiskey. Some beer for Mike. And he was it was like I just love that dude. We met last year officially at Gen Con. We had a little, email correspondence regarding covering his game and stuff. But like almost every night we hung out with Jim and his friend Sean. Was that his name?
I don't remember.
Gosh,
I've learned so many new names in this.
I know.
Especially if we're starting like a new job, right? And all these people keep coming in. I'm supposed to learn their names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but it was very cool because that leads into the evening of getting to play games with Jim, like a lot of the nights of the show.
Yep.
But yeah, it was totally unnecessary, but super awesome and generous of him to do that. It was very kind and not lost on me at all. So yeah, we made some plans to play games. Andrew down in the out at the demo hall, and did we start with the Parakeet Griffin people, or were we playing games before they got there? I don't remember.
I think we were playing games before we got there because if I remember correctly, your sister and brother-in-law were there, and we did Link City.
Oh, I didn't play Link City.
Oh, you weren't part of that? But that was an interesting game where it's like, so one person is the mayor, and you've got this base.
Oh, I did play that. I did play that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you have this like base grid of like a city laid out, and then you're gonna get 3 tiles that are basically like, either like a store or a college or a tattoo parlor, and you put these cones out, and okay, so the one person is going to pick where we're going to build, and then whoever's the mayor behind a screen is going to have their 3 locations and then 3 tiles with those different colored cones on them, and you're going to assign where you think you would build those buildings, accordingly. And then you pull your screen off, and then all the other people talks amongst themselves, and they try to guess where you're going to try to build those places, and then you reveal them. If you're correct, you place them there, and that's going to get you points later on because it makes these trees. That will get you with those points. And if you're wrong, you have to place it like catty corner to a tile that's already existing. So it basically makes it like another open space for you to have to place other tiles.
Yes.
And you go around like 6 times or something like that. Everybody, 6 people being mayor. And then you calculate how many trees you got. And then there's a chart that tells you how good you did comparatively.
So, I thought that game was really fun. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the conversations that it spawned, lots of that.
Of course, for the tattoo parlor next to the college, that just makes sense,
Yeah. Yeah, but where do we put this fallout shelter?
Right. Yeah. Out of town somewhere, probably.
Yeah. Link City was good.
Yeah.
Link City was good.
And then after Link City, we did Edo. And that's going to be a fun one.
Edo.
Coming from Arcane Wonders, where it's like you'll draw this card and it has a number on it, and that corresponds to this piece of paper. that has a like a topic. You get like 5 different topics, and everybody agrees on a topic, and you're gonna basically have another card that's got a number on it from like 1 to 100, and you have to come up with something that basically describes that number on a scale of 1 to 100, and then you put it there with your tile on it. Then everybody else is kind of piling on, so it's kind of like a good way to get to know people. And it's like, well, I know Julie doesn't like dogs that much, or I know Tim really wants this Notre Dame football that's autographed by so and so, and so that's got to be way up in the 90s and whatnot. And you're trying to get that order correct secretly.
It was really funny because Bob threw a card down and he's like, all the board games. And so I knew I had like a low 90s card. And when you said that, I knew it had to be a high 90s card. So so I used like Notre Dame memorabilia and made it very fancy. And everybody's like, that's not higher than Bob's. And I'm like, Bob's is all the board games. Like, this is just like these particular people.
Sure.
So because I really didn't think anybody, like, what are the odds that somebody's going to have between what you and I had, like between 93 and 99. So I was really trying to discourage that because I really felt like yours was top, and it was. So we did really well. We got that whole line.
We got that one right.
I was worried you'd think that I had 100. I was like, well, I don't have 100. And the way you were talking about all this like Notre Dame stuff that I didn't quite grasp because I didn't know who those people were. And so I was like, I mean, maybe. And you're like, no, because it's all. I'm like, well, not all, but most.
The majority of.
Yeah, the majority of the board games. But no, that was a fun game. I'm looking forward to the finished copy when they re-release it, I should say.
Yeah.
You should have clarified everything but autocomplete.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, I see what you're saying. Ha.
But you can't have all the board games.
All the board games. Except
autocomplete.
All the board games.
But it was shortly after that when the Parakeet Griffin people started trickling in. And then we switched to Adventure Party.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And that was a good time. That's a great group because they have that game coming out. I'm going to draw a blank on the name. Fairy Tale Campaign Trail. Yeah,
and they are creative people anyway that role play, so they're just perfect for that game.
Yes, and so that was a good time. And you guys had a hard time trying to sneak into this very dark cave.
Listen, it was very dark.
These stalagmites and stalactites everywhere, trying to hunt down this vampire. But that was a great story. Always a good time, being creative with those types of creative types. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And again, right, like so. You we're trying to complete a quest, but the thing is we need it to make it all the way around the table. So you have to stretch it out long enough for all of the players to be able to participate.
Exactly.
And then you say what you're going to do, and then you roll for it, and then you, without anybody seeing, you describe what you've done. And everybody then guesses with their 20-sided die how well you did, right? They all, what did you roll? Okay. Yep. And man, that game, I knew when it was explained to me last year, I was like, holy crap, I'm gonna love that game. And it did not disappoint. It was really, really good.
It gives me the DM vibes where it's like, okay, what do you want to do? All right, roll it. All right, here's what happens, and so depending on what you roll, and that's just a great feeling. Like I love that storytelling aspect, and that was a great group to do it with. So it was a good time.
Yeah.
Then
we snuck in a game of Green Team Wins.
That's right.
Yeah.
Green Team did win. I was on the Green Team.
London won that game according to.
It was like tied. It was very close. I feel like I won because I was on the Green Team.
It was like a tie, which means it was not in fact a tie.
But after that, we need to get into our game of Telestrations with the After Dark cards. And of course, there are pictures.
There are pictures. And so, this might be a little PG-13/R rated.
It's R.
It's R rated. It's definitely R rated.
Wait till you see the first
kids
photo.
Go to sleep. Okay, don't watch for a little while. But anyways, Mike, as you were. You gotta start with that one.
Oh, you just went right to it.
Yeah, right. For ripping the Band-Aid off. There you go.
Going in order.
There it is.
I'm going in order here. So we have a glory hole.
Oh, I thought that was an arcade.
but
I
okay.
think that was an
Yeah, it's an
arcade.
arcade
And there's
joystick. So
yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I just took a shot of Malort.
You
It,
should have seen the
it
picture
only
of Mike
gets
with it. Like he was so excited about it. That was a great picture.
Yes.
Yep.
that's
I thought that was a
shit.
cape at first, but no.
I forget what that one was supposed to be.
There's Mike, very excited about his glory hole.
Making the same face he as the stick man in that picture.
It's a family show. It's mostly a family show.
It's missing
this
the
is-
hearts around me, but you can
this
see the
is
bathroom
a-
behind me where I visited said glory hole.
This is a 5-minute segment where we are.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jim missed part of the reveal because he was demoing his game for a group of people that showed up.
More cat shit.
More cat shit, because cat shit happens. I mean, Lucky Charms.
I
This is
had
what happens when
little
you have
person.
artists at the table. Okay, you have the
Yeah.
stickman
Artists
people.
at the
That's Tim
table.
and I, and then the actual parakeet Griffin people who can actually draw.
And
you can
Jim
tell.
Cole was there playing.
And Jim
as
Cole
well.
was there. Yes.
Multiple artists at the table.
Multiple artists. Yeah, that's a thing.
But
We'll leave
this
that up
was,
for interpretation, Mike.
This is a Malort tasting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it
Same
is.
thing. Same.
Same
Malort
flavor.
tasting.
Same flavor.
Mike's
So
enjoying
much
it
classier picture
naturally.
than I did.
It's just Pinocchio. He's a real boy.
Adorable.
My
Yep.
dog's ear does that like all the time, and I love it.
Same. So does Winston's.
That is the.
I wish I could show you
last-
right now. He's asleep on the floor. He looks so cute.
That's what Sushi's doing. Finally, after I, remembered to let her in.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the last illustrations photo, which leads us to Friday morning.
Okay, well, hold on.
Oh.
So, first of all, that was like the most pure
Oh.
and sweet
Oh,
illustrations
yes.
photo.
oh, you're right. You're right. Yes, go on. There is another. There is another Thursday photo. I forgot.
There is another.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
this one, real quick, just a very nice experience that we, I feel like we helped facilitate. But I got to witness it, which is
Oh,
really
yeah.
what's most
Very
important.
cool. Yeah.
So, a guy who watches the show, Brandon Houston,
Yep.
he found us. He was messaging us on the Discord. We found him. I gave him a free game. I gave him a copy of Ahoy Kitten. That reminds me of something else I
Yeah.
need to talk about from Thursday during the show. But I gave him a copy of Ahoy Kitten, and I found him like 2 hours later, and he's like, "We played that game like 4 times already." His group loved it. They had a great
Awesome.
time. And the reason I had a copy of Ahoy Kitten to give away is because we went over to the Mayday Games booth. I don't remember who was with me. Was it you, Bob, or was it? Yeah, because you got a copy of Ahoy Kitten to give away also.
Yep.
Did you give
Yep,
it away or did you keep it?
No, I'm gonna give it away. It's still in shrink. I already own it. So.
I thought you were going to give it away to somebody at the show, like at Gen Con.
Sure. I hear you.
Doesn't matter.
No, I'm gonna
You give it to whoever you want.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're at the Mayday Games booth, and because I wanted to say hi to Seth Hyatt, and I was like, just so you know that I'm not full of shit, like, and I open my sling bag and pull out a copy of Ahoy Kitten. I'm like, I take this with me like everywhere because I always get it played. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys are crazy. Do you want a couple copies to give away? And I said, yes. So he handed us 2 copies. I gave one to Bob and I took one, and then I gave one to Brandon later. And then when Brandon showed up later, he had arranged with Jim to demo Zombie Survival Infection, which he had backed on Kickstarter. He wasn't like backer number 5 or something. He said he was like a very early,
Nice.
very, very like low number backer, right? Like, because he got in there really early. But the fact that he got to I got to see him and his buddies sit down with a game designer and get to play the game. And then West played it with him.
Yeah.
And it was like very cool to see that happen because I know how I feel when I get to meet a designer and play a game with them. Like, and it's like, I'm seeing somebody else do what I love to do. Just very cool.
That was very cool.
Yep.
And anyways, loved it. Thought it was awesome. And really glad that happened right behind us. Oh yeah, and he bought a shirt. That's why I gave him a game.
That's
Was
why he got a
because
free game.
Yeah.
He followed the rules.
he did.
Oh, I found another. I found a couple more day zero photos that are worth showing.
Okay. Have at it.
Okay.
So I remember you guys sent this to me while I was working.
That wasn't day zero. If it's the people's mic on your screen you're about to show, that is not day zero.
This?
Not day zero.
I was
That's not
here
day
for
zero. You were
Was it not?
there.
You were there for that.
That was Saturday, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Not day zero. Go back. Get rid of it.
Gotcha.
It's a great picture though. But yes.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, because I only spent Saturday at the field. I didn't go down there any other day, so that was
Same. I was down there Friday night and then
Gotcha.
Saturday.
That's why I was setting up one of the games that I will talk about later.
So Thursday night,
Yeah,
I believe it was me and Spencer that were. I walked back with Spencer, maybe Bob, and it resulted in this photo. Tim,
you didn't walk. That was Dan. You went with Dan
that's
because
right.
Dan was
That's-
messaging me.
Yep.
Yep. Timmy and a lawyer. I think it's malarkey.
So Tim is parked in the same spot on the road for years now.
7 years. Easily.
A free spot on the road that does not have any will tow signs. It does not have any no parking signs. And we've parked there. I've parked there even several years in a row.
We
now.
parked it the day before until like 2 a.m.
Yes. But this time, Indianapolis decided that spot's not going to work, and they towed Tim's vehicle.
Yep.
And because there were 3 of us in Spencer's car, and there was no room for you guys and West, he had to take us back to the house and come back and get you guys.
Yep.
And then Tim had to go at 2 a.m. and go get his car.
Thank God it was a 24-hour tow yard, and I was
Yeah.
able to get my vehicle.
I mean, like, it's kind of like you've just paid for all the 7 years of parking all at once, but I still feel like shenanigans were had because there was no sign, there was no ticket, there was no anything.
Nothing.
And yeah, I
Nothing.
think, Mike shared that thing in our group chat about like the laws about towing and whatnot. And I don't know, man. You might have got.
You might have a case because
Yeah.
there's nothing labeled that says you cannot park there. But
Is
how
it
did you
worth
figure
paying a
out,
lawyer?
Tim? This was kind of interesting.
Okay, so I have an AirTag in my car. And what was messed up though was that I did not have it linked to my phone. It was linked to my wife's phone. So I needed to call my wife at 12:30, at night and say, hey, don't freak out, but can you go and look and see where my car is with the AirTag? And now I can see where my car is because I got my AirTag, like it's shared with it. But anyways, thankfully I was very relieved to see that it was in a lot filled with other cars and not just like in a rando neighborhood.
Alley, yeah.
Right. The other thing that I kind of noticed is that I didn't think it was stolen because there wasn't any broken glass on the street or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, your mind starts running through like all the possibilities. And then there's a thing, what was it? If Indianapolis has a website, and I forget how I found it, but it's like, can't find your car? Check if it was towed. And so you like put your VIN or your license plate number into a website and it'll tell you where your car is.
Well, the kind of the ironic thing for me was like on the way down, randomly, you're just like, look, I got an AirTag in my car. Like,
seriously, dude, I did.
Yeah. It was like, what do you call that, Chekhov's gun or whatever? Where it's
Chekhov's AirTag.
Yeah. So that was kind of crazy. And then as we're sitting there kind of like in our like just shock state, some dude pulls up and tries to ask you for money, and you're like, I'm going through my own S right now, guy. Like, my
Yeah.
car just got towed. He's like, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it was
that's
kind of
crazy.
funny.
Mm-hmm.
Mike has his own damage. He had to sit and watch us play Commander.
Yeah, that was Mike's
Uh,
horror story.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
nightmare he lived, the
Mike still
dystopia.
has some comeuppance for setting Bob up to hurt himself.
That's
You
what he
know,
got.
I guess
there's some
I got
things.
karma.
It
I
just kind
did
of
come
happened the other
home.
way.
I think a lot of people experienced some really bad weather Sunday on the way back. I
Yeah.
actually came back to a few small branches in my yard, but like nothing's
Oh,
damaged.
How
You
new?
know, nothing's damaged or anything. But
what is going on here?
Poor Mike.
so
There we go.
Friday, going back into the convention center. Um, Friday, man, that was a bit of a blur at that point.
Well, I know that Dan and I did a lot of demoing on Friday. That was kind of like our goal. Like, we have these an idea for a show that we want to do around the Call of Duty game, because we had demoed it last year and had such a good time with it. And then they had a more updated version prototype at the Arcane Wonders booth this time. And we sat down to play that, and it was a little rough because the guy that was meant to show us, he was losing his voice. It was off, like he didn't expect to have to do it. So I don't really blame him for it. But it's still super fun, right? Like, you're picking your gun, you're picking your loadout. It's hidden movement behind your map, and like you go down to a space, you're checking your aim. You're moving down to another space, you check your aim, and like I just really enjoy that back and forth and the hidden movement planning. And I really feel like this would lend itself well to some sort of a show, because I could plan my moves behind my screen and then go like somewhere in like an enclosed area and just talk crap, about, oh, I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna post up, I'm gonna wait for him to walk past, I'm gonna and I feel like this is gonna be a bunch of fun when we finally get our because I've kickstarted it, so I'm hoping that we get that and we're able to make that happen. I feel like it'll be a really fun show.
Indeed. Indeed.
And that
Friday
was
morning, we. Oh, go on, Bob.
I was gonna say, well, I was gonna pass it to you. I was gonna say, that was also the day that we demoed Age Contrived.
Yeah. Yeah. I really thought that was really neat. It's got a really cool action selection, the way you spend energy mechanic, and then you place it on the board, and it's going to give you different things that you can do and different kinds of bonuses. So you can set up these really cool combos. And the game just has table presence for days. Yes. Because it's got these, you can see those black prongs coming up through the board. And so what's going to happen is you are building these monuments, and as you are building them, they're magnetic, and so they stick to those things. Yeah, it's really cool. And Justin, it's the hand gestures. So when I do that, it does
So I've been thinking about that game tonight. I think I know what bothered me about it so much.
Okay.
It was the moving around, right? And I get it if you want to say, okay, in a turn, you can't move forward and move back because you don't want somebody triggering a bridge or doing something more than once. Okay, I get it. But I guess I didn't quite understand how we were moving. I mean, I know he was telling us which way to go, but I moved forward, and on the next turn, I'm like, okay, well, now I want to move back around the path this way. And he's like, well, you can't. Once you start down a path, you have to keep going down it. And there's not there's arrows or anything that say it's a one-way path or anything like that. So that just felt very weird and awkward to me.
Yeah, I didn't feel like pursuing it in the demo because
right. Yeah,
I didn't want to derail.
Get a little feel for it. Yeah.
But I'm wondering, once we get into the game, what'll be there that will make, you know what I mean? If there's something in there that we just didn't catch, maybe got glossed over. But yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Evan wants to know how your arm is, Bob.
Yeah, no, it's good, right? Like it was this one here. Sometimes I'll still twist it a weird way, and it'll get right there. Yeah, don't do that. I'll get a weird twin because it's definitely still healing. But man, like I said, I was really worried about going to work on Monday, and of course, the first order I had to do was the biggest tanks that we do. So I was
yes.
But I managed to get through it and just be smart about it and not try to like do too much. And it's been getting better. But thank you again, Evan, because I was panicked
Wizardry.
about the whole insurance thing because being kind of between jobs in this limbo area is not enjoyable. And I was like, oh, I can go 30 days without getting hurt, and then I'm like, oh, yeah. So that was unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a fun story, and it's very cool that Evan was there to help out.
I wish I could have seen that look that he was giving you guys as he was rubbing my arm.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, it looked like this.
Oh my gosh!
Hold on. Yeah, zoom in, zoom in.
It was like this.
That's what it looked like.
And then there's Bob's reaction while Evan is enjoying it. The masochist.
Yes, it was so good. It was so funny.
Hey, Nix.
And we are bad friends because we are all cackling with
you guys were enjoying it way too much. You're like, oh, we should be recording this.
Nobody was enjoying it nearly as much as Evan was.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Dude, Evil High Priest. Nice. Where'd you get that at? That's awesome. Oh, that was my Gen Con haul. So you weren't at Gen Con? How'd you manage to score that?
Oops.
That's awesome.
Then, yeah.
Evan's face or my discomfort?
Evan's face, because he's like, yes.
Was it like the was it anger management or whatever it is?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of that Jack Nicholson meme. Yeah.
Yeah, he just stuck his thumb in there in a weird spot and then grabbed my bicep and was wiggling on it, and I was like, it hurt so much. But then I was like, oh,
nice. That's a deal.
It's a deal.
Yeah, let us know what you think of it, man. I hope you like it as much as we do.
Yeah. How many of the Elder God maps did you get with that? Did it come with like the whole shebang, or was it like only 1 or 2 maps?
Either way, $35.
Either way. For $35, that's solid.
Retail's good.
Yep.
Retail is good. Friday also, I think it was Mike and I went over to Third World Studios for our meeting with Cougs. Was it you, Mike, or was it?
Yes.
So we got to see Canvas Critters, which looks absolutely amazing, super fun, and it's going to be a bona fide hit, designed by, which I can proudly say, friends of the show, Katia Howitson and Michael Giuliano. We were giving Mike a hard time and saying that Kat did all the work and that Mike just slapped his name on it. But yeah, this game is going to be really, really, really cool. So you can kind of see up in the top right, there's a card there that's got their, oh shit. That's got their,
that's weird. You only got 1 photo out of that?
Yeah, it's weird. But anyways, that card's got a category, like a list of categories, and everybody's going to agree on a category, whatever one it is, however you decide. And then you're going to create a mosaic by taking one piece at a time, using one hand, and you're going to build a mosaic. And when you think you're done, you're going to grab the sand timer, you're going to flip it over, and that gives everybody else a minute to finish. It kind of makes me think a little bit of Galaxy Trucker, but easier, not as punishing or mean. And then the really cool thing is, this is a really nice twist on the judge mechanic, is you're going to orient your picture towards the center of the table so everybody can see it. They can see it at the angle you want it seen at, you know what I mean? So it looks the way it's supposed to look.
The right perspective.
Yeah, the right perspective. And then everybody is going to have these ribbons with a point value, 1, 2, or 3 on them. And they are not double-sided. So one side is blank and the one side has a number. And then you're going to award somebody 3 points, 1 point, 2 points, like based on that. And so nobody knows what everybody's score is. You know what you've handed out to people.
Right.
And you know what you've been given, but you don't know what everybody else's score is. Right. And then you play X amount of rounds, and then you're done, and you see who wins. But the thing is like taking and making a game out of what Katia does with those calendars is just badass, right? And then Eric, those those life-size standees they had around the booth. So like of the different canvas critters, all looked so good. Really great artwork. Really cool. I don't know who Kermit is, but I'm down for it.
Hi.
Welcome.
So after Dan and I did the Call of Duty, we ended up going and demoing the new David Turksey game that he was super excited about, the Star Trek Captain's Chair, which is like a 1v1 deck builder type of game. And it was interesting. Like we had like the teach was fine, but then like by the time we got into it deep and we were trying to figure out some of the minutia of things, like the teacher and David had gotten busy like playing their own game, and so we had to keep like interrupting, and we felt bad about that. And it felt a little unbalanced because like every time Dan did something, I would counter like I kill all your guys, and then like he's like, well, I'll play all my cards up, finally put some dudes over here, and I'll be like, I kill all your guys, and so like it felt a little bit unbalanced. But it was like I said, it was first time through the game. I would check it out again. But I'm definitely not over the moon for it, and it's probably because I'm not like a huge Star Trek fan. I've seen some of like the newer movies and stuff, but like I haven't seen any of the old series. I just haven't. So
yeah.
But you can tell that David's a super fan. Like he knows all of that minutia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also at Third World Studios, Mike and I saw a game that we know will be perfect to play on the show, and that is Aloha Earth.
Yeah.
We are aliens, and we are experts in Earth culture. This is after, Earth, humanity is long gone from the planet. So we are basically like archaeologists, and we're explaining what things are and how they were used. Based on our own levels of BS.
We know, in our area of expertise, we know that this was used for that, obviously.
So it's really funny because one person picks like two objects basically to be combined together, and then there's a location as to where it was found.
Yeah.
And then yes, everyone else represents sort of like a different field of expertise, like music or food or science,
government
or war, things like that, right? Military. And so like you were trying to explain why this thing was used for that.
Yeah.
And really fun, really hilarious. And just, the mechanical jet ski in the sewers. We had a really good time. We were getting rowdy at the soiree later, which we'll get into that when we get there.
Yep.
But that was really fun. That was a really cool thing we got to see and like do like a very quick demo. And then Mike, what was the name of the other game, the water game that they had with the reef? Coral Reef? Was it just called Coral Reef? Googs, you're watching. What was the reef game?
Coral Gardens.
Coral Gardens. That looked very cool too. And I really, yes, Coral Gardens. Thank you, Mike. I love the way those little tiles and the way that you can seed them and then the stacking of them and everything. It looks really cool. I'm very excited to get to play that and like really see that like come together. So
a neat little story. So just before we headed off to the soiree, we were leaving the convention, and I ran into Cedric,
the entertainer.
No, I can't remember his last name, but he's like the head guy at Captain Games. And
okay.
I made a comment to him, and he was like, "Oh, do you have time?" And I said, to come check something out. And I said, "Sure." So we went down to their booth, our demo space in the demo hall, and he gave us some cool like promos and stuff, and they all like signed them. Francois was there, and he's the one that taught me Path of Civilization last year with your sister. Super nice guy. And we talked for a while, and then we ended up doing a demo of his prototype that's going to be coming out. I think it's a Essen release, they were saying, but that Duck and Cover.
Duck and Cover was excellent.
And that was a fun game. Yeah, you got these ducks, and they have these different splash values on them. You shuffle the cards up, you lay them out in this 3x4 or 4x3, however you want to do it, grid. And then you're drawing cards off the top of the deck. And then that card that gets revealed you're going to either take that duck and then move it orthogonally one space, or you're going to do duck and you basically dive under the water and you have to bring it up adjacent to something else somewhere else. And the whole object is like once they flip a card over and nobody can play a card and everybody quacks, because that's what you do when you can't play a card. Yeah. Then that card gets removed. Once 6 cards are removed, the game is over. But basically, you're just trying to move and stack all those up because those splash value points in the bottom little corner are going to be basically like negatives. Or you get points, but it's the lowest score wins.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get basically all of them into one pile. And yeah, that was a super interesting light game. And it's a fun little tactical thing. And everybody's board is different because every turn you just take all your cards, shuffle them up, deal them back out. So all your cards are always in a different location every time.
This game was excellent. Really fun for what it was. I was really bad at it and I didn't care because I was having so much fun playing it.
Plays in 10-15 minutes, and I think it plays 5-6 people, something like that.
Yeah. Francois and Cedric. Yeah, nice. Googs knows everybody. And Papa Sid,
they're
so
great people. So
yeah, and that's the other thing, right? Like you got these guys that are genuinely like passionate and excited about being there. It was a rocking good time, man. It was really good. And
I'm loving this duck art.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Yeah.
Loving this.
But I believe that's Francois' new game.
Yes.
That he's putting out. Met his son, which was cool.
Yes. It was really funny because he kept like asking him to do things, but it was all in French.
Yeah, because he didn't speak much English. He's like, "This is my son, and he does not speak much English." And I was like, "Okay, cool, nice to meet you." But yeah, it was a good time.
They stared awkwardly at you because you didn't know what you said.
Yeah.
What else did we do?
It was when we went over to the meeting at Third World Studio that we ran into these assholes.
Yeah, because I didn't get to see them.
Oh yeah, we did run into these assholes.
Keep firing, assholes.
That's right. President Scroob, salute. That's right.
Yeah, it was very cool. They had some fun costumes. They were nice guys. They're like, this is such cheap cosplay to do. It's very easy.
Right? The helmet's the hardest part.
No, the moon boots are the hardest part. Really? Those are like $12 light covers that they just cut out.
Oh, for the boots? I mean, for the helmet?
Yeah, for the helmet. The moon boots, he said, are like 30 or 40 bucks. So,
dude, these are making Napoleon Dynamite jealous. Look at those.
Yeah.
Those are definitely styling.
Dude.
I love it.
Wasn't that right outside the Third World Studios booth? I feel like we were waiting for Mike, and when we saw those guys.
Yes, this is definitely right next to their booth. Their booth's right here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I feel like every con I've gone to, I've seen some Spaceballs. Oh shit, there goes the planet.
But yeah, it was very cool. What else? Gosh, there's so many
Friday
things.
Night.
Friday night.
We went to the soiree.
Yep.
I was yes, go on. Nope, that's post soiree, but yes, we ran into
right outside
people at the con.
Before,
that's a great picture.
Anyway, it's close. It's close.
Well done.
Great picture. Thank you for that one.
Yeah. It's hard to get Eric in there too, because he's like
usually have to take it from the ceiling
perspective, and then Mike looks almost as tall.
Yeah, and then zoom out for that one.
I look like a gnome that escaped from Gnome Hollow.
Yeah.
So here's a funny thing though, about the soiree. Sometimes when I'm with my friends, I kind of forget where we are and how we should behave, because the Third World Studios crew did a very awesome job. They did a great job. They did like a nice little presentation. Their staff was dressed up, like professional, like service, like food service people. And they brought out your charcuterie game in a cloche, like on a platter. And oh, look at that. So they did like all of these.
Right. He's kneeling for that picture. Oh man. Tim didn't feed his nobody fed Tim's hamster while he was gone. This is crazy.
That's what happened. Tim leaves for Gen Con. The kids are like, "Oh, we're gonna take care of the hamsters, Dad. Don't worry." And then this is what happens. You get starving hamsters. They don't
internet
keep the internet
Ham
working.
Hamster just gives up,
Yep,
which
Tim's got to go buy
allows
new hamsters this weekend.
me
So,
to go ahead and pick up where the soiree was. Maybe I don't want to kill a story,
right?
but yeah, they were all like, "All right, so." They kind of had like a brief presentation about how Third World Studios got started, and then brought on Googs, and they started really going heavy into games. And it was kind of cool to hear how all that went down. Like I didn't really know. I knew they did some publishing, of like books and comics and stuff. But it was kind of cool to hear the backstory. And then they actually brought out these cloches that had charcuterie in it. And I just thought that was so cool. We literally got served a game at our tables.
Mhm.
I'm gonna find that. Here we go. Because they're kind of scattered between a few folders between mine and Bob's, and I get them
Right.
separated here. But they were literally served on these cloches, which
On a
was
platter.
such a cool touch.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we brought so every table brought the game out. They taught how to play the game, and then we played the game, which we already knew because we've previewed it and stuff like that and reviewed it. But we right. But yeah. Keep my pinky up while I drink that
That's
tea.
right.
Uh, but and then we played it, and then the winner at each table won the game. And I have a copy, Bob has a copy, and naturally Dan won it and he doesn't have a copy. So I was like,
That was
oh wow,
awesome.
that worked out.
Yep.
And then after charcuterie, Eric won everything they had because his name was called over, his ticket number was called over and over and over. And then,
Rigged.
of course, I'm yelling, rigged and cheating, over and over and over. But seriously, like his number was called like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, like he's just giving
Yeah.
things
That was
away.
very nice.
They're calling extra numbers, so somebody other than Eric, exactly. Yeah, definitely cheating. Oh, that's Third World Studios. Do we have DeVito in the chat now?
Ooh.
That's cool.
Right? Did Mike switch
Appreciate it.
accounts? Or did get someone
I
new?
don't know. I don't think so.
Might.
I think he sticks to the
Cool.
full 42. That might be DeVito. Appreciate it.
Cool.
But we've got more photos of this that are kind of funny. So they even had I thought so. Awesome. But yeah, they had like a photo contest, which we didn't win. Eric didn't win actually. So I thought that was kind of wild.
Crazy.
Where is it? I'm like, oh wow, other people can win. That's crazy. We decided to be silly because that's what we
That's
do.
what we
So there's a
do.
few of these photos.
Yeah.
Uh, if I can find them again, there's
Selfieception. Is that what you're looking for?
dang, Tim's internet hamster is dead. Like they starved him to death.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah, he's
Tim
commenting
is
on his own personal Facebook. Something serious is going on there.
yeah, he's gonna need the poor man's geek squad to stop by again. That's me.
Mhm.
Um so here we go. Here's one of the photos we did. We did inception of a selfie. So this is, I think Mike took this photo. All of us are
I think
taking a
so.
selfie at the same time.
We're weirdos.
So it's kind of funny because there's multiple angles of this shot naturally, because
Yeah,
all of us
like
have this
6,
photo.
7.
Yes. I don't have Spencer's and I don't have Dan's. I didn't get Cody's. That's one of our editors there to the right, by the way. So that's what we did. We're all just taking a selfie at the same time. Yeah, exactly. Kind of like, what would be funny? And then of course, you had to hashtag Third World Studios and whoever had the best
Soiree.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really care. We're just like, let's do this.
Yeah. Yep. It's funny because I walked in, I was like, BGR party of 6, please.
Yeah. Accurate. There's more. Okay, here we go. Like I said, I got to go back and forth between folders. There's from Tim's angle. Conveniently leaving me out of the shot because he has short
By
arms.
design. Oh.
Yes. Well, I think it's actually because he hasn't figured out that if you're taking a selfie with your right hand, you got to put your right shoulder to the outside so you can extend your reach. We got to work on that selfie technique there, Tim. That's why you can't get as
Yeah.
far out. And
Yeah,
also, it looks like you took your picture in 4:3 instead of 16:9, which will give you a wider angle. This is a reason I'm poor man Geek Squad here. Um,
wow.
there's a reason I bring all the photos.
Mhm.
So again, going back to us so I can find more of these. There's definitely more. I think I ended up taking a picture of
Yep.
somebody took a picture of their board.
That is
Um,
not my board, but yeah, somebody
that
did
must
that.
that must be Tim's board.
That must be Tim's board.
Yes. So we're actually going to start training Tim's internet hamster to start taking his selfies.
I mean, he
Oh,
does
oh,
suffer from short arm syndrome, so it does kind of hinder some things. But I don't think he realizes that you can zoom out when you're selfieing. That's not the furthest camera. You can actually pinch. You know, not only can you zoom in, but you can
right.
actually zoom out and get grasp more.
Here we
Yeah.
go. I'm getting photos, live request here. This is great. Dan just sent me this one. So here's his
Hey, there
view.
you go. Nice.
Notice he has the correct
Ah,
shoulder out towards the camera. Tim's double fisting his camera, which is
right.
why he can't get a good angle.
But he did lose out on Spencer and myself, so that
Oh
is
man, he
unfortunate.
also with the 4:3 instead of the 16 wide angle, but
To be
that's
fair, I
okay.
didn't know about that. I just kept reaching and tilting further. think I got everybody. Spencer, but you only have a half a Spencer. We'll see if you get the mine or not.
Where the heck is mine? Mine's in here somewhere. But yeah, we
Yeah.
had a lot of fun at that event. I really thought
You
Third
cut
World
Tim
Studios
out
did a
too, so I guess that's only fair that he cut you out.
at least I got a wide angle. I
Here's
got as
Mike with
many
his
people as
fancy
I
angle,
could.
still missing out on people. He's got the longest arms, the widest angle, and he still leaves Tim out.
Well, the rest of us are like up here. I wasn't able to go down far enough to get Tim in the shot. So he was like under the table at that point. But no, I'm just giving you guys a hard time, obviously. But that was our idea. We're like, let's all take a selfie, and it's selfie inception here. But it was a really fun event. It was cool that
Yeah,
they were actually giving away charcuterie for free just for coming, and always good to show up and support indie publishers like
for
Third World
sure.
Studios. It does a great job. Uh, uh, I think it's because once again, I took multiple shots, and I'm like talking and laughing while I'm taking multiple shots. Yes, I was laughing at the whole idea of us doing this, and I couldn't stop laughing.
You say laughing,
At
it was more of a giggle than a laugh.
Yeah, like, I can't believe we're doing this. We're idiots. um, but yeah, so yeah, we basically give you a panoramic view of the
That's
whole
right. Yeah,
whole
that's like the
area
Matrix,
there.
right? You could put all those pictures together, and it'll be like the camera. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
But no, it was thank you for making sure we knew about it, Mike. And actually, I
yeah.
want to tell you too, um, one thing, yeah, good. You actually got past a menu too, and the
Yep.
menu was like, we're gonna start with our story, and then we're gonna play charcuterie, and it was kind of like first your hors d'oeuvre, and then
First
your
course,
first
second
course, and
course.
then your
Yeah,
second course was go play these prototypes that we're gonna get published.
yeah.
That was definitely a very cool touch.
I,
They really knocked it out of the park for that event.
they did. I was sad when it had to end abruptly. I didn't realize there was an event coming in after us, and we were kind of like taking our time as we were doing
Sort of
things.
rushed out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was a little unfortunate because I wanted to keep going. We were
Yeah.
having a good
We
time.
wanted to
So
we wanted to keep playing Aloha Earth. Like that's
yeah,
just perfect for our group. Mike, honestly, if you have extra prototypes available by QSCon, we will play that on the show. That type of game just works so great for our group.
yeah.
Um, but then oh, the other props I was going to give them for that event. I don't remember when I was talking where I was talking about this. I've had this conversation. Awesome, Mike. Seriously, we will play it on the show. Like it just we were laughing so hard at that. We love to
Hmm.
role play and get into character and get goofy. So it's just right up our alley. Deal.
Okay.
Deal, Mike.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait, wait.
gladly.
Twist my arm a little bit there.
Yeah, yeah. Twist your other arm, Bob. Yeah. Hold on,
Damn
where'd
it! I
Evan
want to
go?
learn.
But no, the other props I want to give you guys is that I don't remember who I was having this conversation with. Is that there are some events like I'd love. Oh, we were having this conversation with Karen on the way back after you actually hurt your arm, Bob, about some of these events are not advertised at all. Some of
Yes.
these publishers do not promote their own events. I
Yeah.
follow so
Crazy.
many publishers on Instagram now, follow ours, on Facebook, on Twitter, and my Third World Studios was one of the few publishers that was promoting their own event at Gen Con. I would go to more of these if I knew they existed. I don't
100%.
want to go to the tabletop event website
It's
and
terrible.
scroll through hundreds of thousands of events just to find these things. If
Yep.
publishers would promote their own events, then hey, maybe more people would show up. I would gladly go to more
Yep.
events like what you guys did, but
Put a
you promoted it. So I was happy to like, oh yeah, I'm going to that.
Yep. Put a
So
flyer at your booth. So people that come by that are interested in your games will also see that flyer or a sign that says,
seriously,
hey, we're doing something. You can come check these games out at this cool event. It's like, heck yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like
It's a cheap,
social
easy
media
way to
posts
promote
about
that.
these events, just more ways to let people know these things are
Yeah.
going on, because it's very easy to not know
Because
with the
there's so
tens of
much.
thousands of
There's
events
so
going
much going
on
on. It
that
gets lost
all
in the
this
shuffle.
stuff is happening. Yes,
Yep.
so good job promoting it and getting people to
Yep.
come out.
And by promoting it,
um
he means, being friends with us.
yes.
So good job of
Well,
being friends with us. We were able to come out
not
to
only
you
did
about
he
it. So
message
let us
us
know.
and he's like, hey, we're doing a soiree thing, you guys should come. I'm like, well, duh, we'll be there.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
also, Eric, same thing. Like
Yeah.
literally, didn't sign up for anything else. Nothing.
I
It's because the publishers don't promote it. It's
yeah. I
kind
didn't
of
find
sad.
out until like late Friday, I think it was, maybe Saturday morning,
Yeah,
that there was like a whole Arkham horror Cthulhu Call of Cthulhu type of room slash event going on over in another hotel. I was like, wait, what? And like, because like, I saw somebody walk around with an expansion. I said something to them, and they pointed to this other booth. I talked to the lady there. It's like, oh yeah, you go over to this hotel, and they've got like all of this stuff going on. It's like there's so much stuff to sort through. Like, ain't no one got time for
seriously.
that. It's
Yeah,
like so I don't know. It's promoted at your booth. I feel like that's just a
yeah.
easy thing to do.
I don't know if they're like afraid of selling out. Like, isn't that the whole goal? Like,
You would
most
think
of them
so,
are like paid ticketed events. I figured you
right?
would want to sell them out.
Yeah, because I'm sure you
Like,
have to
it's like,
pay to host that event, so you do the tickets to help pay that back, and you want to
yeah,
recoup that. You know?
it's like, hey guys, we're having a paid event. Shh,
hmm
don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I
I,
mean, and it's not like it was crazy. It was $2. I mean,
yeah,
super
right.
reasonable. It's like I
So
would go
worth it.
do like 102. Well, maybe not $102. That'd be a lot of money. But a bunch of $2 events. Over the
Right.
weekend if I'd known about them.
Yeah, exactly. So
So
just good job promoting it. I wish more publishers would.
yep.
While we were standing in the line, I remember seeing this bag.
Yes. I think I
So
took
this,
that picture because I loved that bag and I kept seeing it. And like, I went up and I asked him, I'm like, hey, I don't mean to interrupt your conversation, but where did you get that bag? Because I need one. Yeah.
we both took a picture, Bob. So
Oh,
this one is actually mine. You and I
nice.
both got a photo. And of
Yeah.
course, Tim has his trash panda pin. So I'm
Oh,
showing off
yeah.
possum inception here.
Yeah. Possums.
So,
I think that's the new cool animal is the possum, right? Like everybody's just like,
it's a thing now.
yeah, it's a thing
Yeah.
now. They're cool.
Well, that's
Streaming is self care.
kind of dumb, Mike. Like, I feel like the
Yeah, it's
publishers
unfortunate.
should get that, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Was there? I mean, like you don't have to answer this because it might be too much information. But do you have to pay to host that event? I would imagine you would, or do you just
Yeah, really.
host the event and then Gen Con gets the money from the tickets? I mean, like okay, that I could see you want to do the event. They don't charge you, but they just charge you for the tickets. Okay, that's one thing. They have fanny pack setting; they're everywhere. But like if you have to pay to host it and they get the money from the tickets, that feels like double dipping. Like I don't feel right.
Yeah, no kidding. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why they're not promoting it.
It's like, don't go. We'll have to pay more money. Yeah,
Seriously.
seriously.
So anyway, that was a lot of fun. Very,
Yeah.
very fun event. Um, what did we do after that? We played more games after that, didn't we?
Yeah, I
The
believe that was the night we ran
Friday
into the
night.
Hungry Gamer, right? And
Yes, we went out to the stadium.
mhm.
We went out to the stadium
I
and
think I
we
lied.
all
I went there
played
twice.
This Game Is Killer.
Yep.
Um,
Smirk and Dagger.
on the stadium floor, Smirk and Dagger,
Mhm.
us four, Spencer, us 5. Spencer was in that game, of course, and we ran into Will Brown, the Hungry Gamer, and played that.
Yep.
Um,
I died
it
first.
was what? Yeah, I still haven't had an experience of that game where I'm like, okay, this is fun. Like,
Yeah.
I've played it twice and it fell flat both times. I hate to say that, but it's
Yeah.
true. The first time it was so random, we like all died and had nothing to do with our death, and it was over in like 7 minutes.
You're right.
And then this time, Spence, like you and Tim
Dan
and
and
Will
Spencer
died
were ready to
early,
go. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Dan was like in it to the end. He's like, let's go.
and it was like me, Dan, and Spencer like dragging this thing on for like a good 30 minutes plus.
Yeah. Yep.
And it overstays its welcome when it's that long, and it's
Yep.
just like two people trying to survive and everybody's just waiting for the game to end.
Yeah. I feel
So a couple weird experiences with that one.
Yeah, cause so like we had gotten that game plus the Adventure Party at the same time, and I feel like there's a really great rule in the Adventure Party rule book that this game is killer is missing, and like almost verbatim, that rule is any great tale trumps any rule in this book. Like, so it doesn't matter what you do if you're having fun and you're doing it. So what? You know, because that's what it's about. It's having fun, and that's one of the things I feel about Smirk and Dagger games. A lot of times, it's like, you know, you're playing games to have fun, and so they make these kind of like, you know, loud and crazy games that you're just meant to just play and have fun. Doesn't matter if you're being meticulously, you know, like straight arrow
Yeah,
about the rules and whatnot. Just have a good time,
right.
you know. And I feel like if you played this game is killer that way, you know, it'd be a little bit more fun, more lighthearted,
Yeah,
and you're just throwing people out of airlocks and having a good time.
yeah. I don't know.
It leaves a little
I
something to be
think
desired.
by it removing like a little bit of that creativity that, like, Adventure Party adds.
Hmm.
I don't know. It almost like feels so random that you kind of don't have a ton of agency in what's happening. So
Yeah,
anyway, kind of our hot takes on this game is killer, which so far has not been killer.
that's right.
Uh, so I know you no, yeah, you, Spencer, Dan, and I went back early.
Yep.
Early being like midnight,
Yeah.
because then Wes showed up
Hmm.
and yeah, it does. It does, Dan. It kind of has fallen flat both times.
Yep.
Um, so we all went back because it had been a long day at this point, and I know Tim stayed back with West and Will, the Hungry Gamer, and I know they played Murray the Asshole Frog, which was in my
Ooh,
Gen Con haul. I got the designer to sign it. She demoed it for me. It was
nice.
something I wanted to get just on theme and name alone. But
Sure.
I'm like, I kind of like seeing people pitch. I'm a salesman by trade, so I like seeing people's pitch.
Yep.
And so she gave a good pitch, and I bought it and had her sign it. And but I left before they started that up. We went back, and I honestly thought I was gonna crash. Like, I was pretty tired, that Friday
Hmm.
night, and I even laid down on my air mattress that night, and you guys started setting up loot,
Loot.
and I was like, "This is one of the games I really wanted to play at Gen Con," and I'm like, "Fine, fine." And we stayed up till, like, 2 a.m. playing games at
Hmm.
Pat and Julia's anyway, and loot is really good.
It is.
Uh
It is
Loot's very good. It is on BGA. It's very easy to learn,
very.
but you place a Viking down and you get a resource tile that goes on your player board, but that can trigger so many things.
Yep.
And you're working two spatial puzzles at once. You're
Yep.
working the main board where you
Yep.
can only place a Viking where the longboats bring you into the fjord or next to other Vikings that have been placed. But then you grab a tile and put it on your player board, which you can go anywhere. And that's where all your scoring comes from. The dual spatial puzzle is very interesting for what's a really simple rule set.
Yes. Yeah, I really enjoyed
Um,
that one. I'm glad that I didn't watch your video to know that loot was going to be really good. But
yes,
yeah,
it
I've
was in my
definitely played
Gen
it.
Con must buy list.
But yeah, after Tim and I played that demo and they were sold out that day, I was like, I knew I was going back the next morning to pick that up because it plays fast. Like you said, a very easy rule set read. You're putting one dude down on the board, and that's triggering so many other actions. And the two different spatial puzzles at the same time from that one action.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was done really well. So
Really
that was a good call, Mike. We'll give
one
you
of
that. Don't
there
break
it is.
your arm. Evan's
There it
not
is.
here to
Oh,
fix it.
I got a cramp. But no, I
It's a
was I
geeky.
was happy to know that, hey, I was promoting a game that turned out to be pretty good.
Yep.
I've already got like several BGA plays going on this. I got several
Nice.
games
Oh,
already.
I see how it is. You only included me on one of those.
Well, I got one with Donnie and
Yeah, that one I'm with
um
him.
and then a separate two-player game. So I
Oh,
have three.
I see.
But
You guys probably play faster than I do.
yeah, maybe. But
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, so pretty happy about that one. Um we played a couple games of the gang after that, you, me, and Dan.
Oh
So
yeah, I
the
forgot to track
gang
that one.
was, like I said, I tried 3 different times to get that game. Finally, on my third try, I picked it up, and this is what so this was Cosmos published. This is trying to do for Texas Hold'em what the crew did for trick-taking games. It is cooperative Texas Hold'em. And they take poker and they split it up into 4 rounds. You get your 2 pocket cards. You're gonna select a chip with no communication that determines the strength of your hand. So if you're holding pocket
Limited,
aces,
limited communication.
limited. You're not supposed to tell everybody what you have, but
Right.
we were kind of doing the
Oh.
well, if you're the first person, it's got that timing element, kind of like the mind has. If you're the first person to grab the 3-star chip, obviously you got the best hand. You're holding the pocket kings, or you got ace king suited. Um, I would
uh,
agree, Andrew, because what
well,
I was going to get at, 3 players was way too easy. We didn't get a single hand wrong.
yeah.
And we even, after we cruised through the first, you gotta get it right 3 times because you're trying to unlock a vault. If you get it wrong 3 times, you lose. We didn't get any wrong. So after one game and getting it right 3 consecutive times, we played like 2 more rounds just because it was getting late at that point. And we threw in a challenge card for each one just to try them.
Mhm.
And the challenge cards will do things like you can't grab an information chip or a ranking chip for one of the rounds, or if the flop comes out and it's all face cards, whoever took the highest chip at the pre-flop has to dump their hand and redraw a new hand. So it does add more challenges, but I would agree that you've really got to play this
Higher player count.
definitely with higher player counts. It was way
Yeah,
too
I was
easy at 3.
unimpressed at 3 players. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't
yeah,
buy it.
yeah. I mean, it was cheap, and I'll
Yeah,
play
it's
it
not even
more.
expensive, but yeah, I was kind of meh.
I got some friends that really love playing poker, so I'll be curious to see if they enjoy this. I'm concerned they won't because there's no money involved, but we'll see.
Sure, I'm not huge on poker either, so
Sure.
take that.
Yeah, that's why I'm in board games. I don't like playing the same game over and over for hours. People can sit and play poker for hours. I can't do it. I get impatient and I get bored. Give me something else to play after an hour of poker.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so 3 players less than desirable. I would probably even consider house ruling at 3 players to add more than one challenge, 2, maybe 3, really make it tough.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I do want to see it at 5 and 6 for sure. I think
yeah.
it'll really
I would
open up.
definitely check it out. So I probably wouldn't play it again at 3. I'd be like, there's 100 other games we can play right now.
All
So
right, so moving on to Saturday, we played a big boy hotness game in the stadium. So, whoop, hold on a second. I gotta yell at Sue.
oh, yell at sushi. But yeah, so earlier in the week, I was in line with Tim's sister, and we both picked up ARCs. And so Saturday, Dan, Mike, and I, and Spencer for a little while talked about it. And we're like, look, this is a prime opportunity for us to learn one of the hot games right now and sit down and check it out. So we sat down and we hashed out ARCs and played through a full game of that. I will say that we did notice I picked up the miniatures pack, And Arcs is a game where you're doing trick taking. Basically, you're playing cards down and taking actions with those, depending on the suit you play and the stars and the numbers that are on them. Following suit grants you actions. You can choose to play card face down or play a different suit and just get one action off of that. But then whoever wins the trick would have the lead next time. You have to choose like what they want to play and actions to do. But I picked up that miniatures pack, and I gotta say it's unfortunate because like we love fancy bits, as you guys probably well know. And this is one of those upgrades that I feel kind of is a detriment to the game itself, because the ships matter when they're upright, they're healthy, and then when they take damage, you lay it on the side. And now the base bits they still look like ships, they have a shape to them, but they're squared off, so you can definitely tell when one's standing up, you can definitely tell when one is laying down. These fancy bits, however, like you would knock it on its side and it would want to stand back up, which normally in a game like Accident Allies or something like that, where being on its side doesn't matter so much, would be great. The fact that those are two distinct different types of health for those ships, it was unfortunate because you really had to kind of try to lean it, and then still sometimes you'd bump the table and it would pop back up again, and that was very unfortunate. So I feel like that while they look a lot cooler with the wash on them and all that, which I enjoy, it made it a little more difficult to play the game. Maybe a beat of sandpaper to give yourself a flat on that side so it would lay down and want to stay there might help out. But it was a very interesting game. I definitely want to play it again. Try different tactics. The tactics that I definitely did not work, but that's fine. That's what happens when you're just taking actions, trying to test mechanics and see how things go. I'm hoping we're going to play it again tomorrow so that we can get a more in-depth feel for it before we do a review for it. Rolling blanks is kind of unfortunate. And that's another thing, too, is that the combat, which is a big aspect of the game, felt a little underwhelming. It's just one roll of the dice, and those dice have either whether I hit you, whether you hit me, or whether I steal anything, and that's it. Like, you have no dice to roll for defense or to attack me back. All of it is resolved by one die roll, which I guess simplifies it and makes it faster, but like to me it felt anticlimactic a little bit. Like, right, so like when I play Accident Allies, it's like I'm rolling my attack, you're rolling your defense, and then we take our losses. This is like I roll the dice and you hit me, okay, I take hits. Okay, I had a couple hits on there, I have ships left, I'm hitting you. Or I'm stealing one of your guys, which stealing the rating is kind of fun, but those dice are way heavily weighted to where you're more likely to get hit because you're trying to steal stuff and not just trying to take somebody out. So you're putting your ship at more risk. Yes, keep pointing out all the blanks I rolled, which is probably why my strategy failed, because it didn't help that I kept rolling blanks and having that feeling about it.
I picked up a guild card very early that allowed me to use any resource to secure. And these are the guild cards, and they have these insane special powers that feel like they can break the game, which I thought was one of the best parts of the game were these guild cards. You can build synergies and engines off of these guild cards. So I went very heavy on the action that lets you put your guys on those cards. And I was just loading up on these, and I got the prelude action that will allow me to just spend any resource to secure one of these cards if I had influence on it. Influence is the action I was thinking of. Influence allows you to place your guys on these cards, and then you can secure them if you have the majority or you're the only person there. And then if you do that, but other people have some of their guys there, you actually capture them. Yeah, influence, Dan, for sure. Thank you. But yes, once you capture them, that's one of the ambitions that you can select as an in-round scoring. And just being able to secure multiple guild cards, like after I had 4 or 5 guild cards and I kept using that secure action, the guys started targeting me to steal my guild
Yeah,
card that
because it was
allowed me
out
to
of
secure.
control. You were doing
Yeah.
ridiculousness with that, and I had none. As you can see, like my player area in front of me, I didn't have any of those cards because that wasn't kind of the strategy I was going for. Then yeah, that Mike had one where he was able to spend a resource for whatever he wanted to do, and that was it's just tough to handle.
Yeah, I went, we're just gonna look at Bob's disappointment here again, but, I went really heavy on guild cards, and I ended up with a bunch of them that allowed me to use prelude actions, which is the trick taking is interesting, and we can go into that later if you want. But like the prelude is kind of like this extra action you can do before the trick taking part, which is the action selection of the game. You spend a resource and do an extra action is your prelude part of the turn.
So you're trying to say
And
the
so I
prelude came before? It's
correct.
crazy. It's
Good.
crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. But yeah, it doesn't make any thematic sense. But no, I went heavy on all these guild cards that allowed me to do multiple prelude actions. I had one to secure cards. I had one that would allow me to move ships. I had another one that allowed me to influence cards. So I was really going heavy on just flinging resources into extra actions. And it did work. I was not battle heavy. If you remember, I wasn't moving. I was turtling and forcing you guys to come after me. Hey,
Yep.
I have the lead. I have all the guild cards. Why would I waste turns on moving? Come and get me, guys. So I just kept influencing cards and taking them. Come and get me, and that worked very well. So the next time I play, don't tell anybody. I'm going to be very aggressive. I'm going to play completely the opposite way. But I will tell you, I
I'm
wasn't
not far from that,
sure.
Dan.
Woo! Wow.
Yeah.
It's higher than that for me. Like I wasn't sure if it deserved the hype, but I will tell you, I've been thinking about it ever since.
Well, and I'm curious too, because like they didn't have any expansions there with them, like the bigger expansion, because the guy just said logistically for the bigger box, it was just going to be not really feasible. So they wanted to get people into the base game, and then if you like the base game, you get the expansion. But that adds some sort of a campaign mode, but you're not necessarily working together. Um, you're still trying to have the high score, but there are common goals that you have to try to deal with. So
Nice. Yeah, see stuff like that, I'm sure would happen. It's weird because it doesn't feel like trick taking. And I don't know if that's because like you don't actually take the trick. I don't know if it's the physical action of pulling cards in
right,
front of you, but
right.
somebody leads a suit and you have to follow. And you have to play a higher card of the same suit,
Mhm.
and that allows you to get actions based on the number of pips on the card. The number just allows you to play the card and follow suit, but there's actually pips on the card that allow you to choose different actions that are on those cards. But if say you can't follow suit, well, you may have to uh play your card face down and just take one action of the first suit that was played, which can be obviously very suboptimal because you're trying to get multiple actions for turn. But what gets very important in this game is taking initiative, starting the turn order, which happens automatically if you play a 7 or if you take the trick. So I guess technically that's where the trick taking importance is. If you play the highest card in the trick and have followed suit, you steal that initiative, and now you're able to choose one of those ambitions, which is end round scoring. If you don't select an ambition, which you only get by taking initiative, you won't score anything during the round. So I do kind of like how it emphasizes the importance of actually winning a trick. You've got to take the initiative to score anything, and that's not always going to happen organically. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing as the campaign. The only thing is, I don't think Bob picked up the campaign, but yeah, it's like a 3 game campaign, and that box is way bigger
No,
than the
yeah, they
base
didn't
game
have the
box.
campaign there. Although I was assured that the miniatures, the other smaller expansion they've got with it, and the base game will all fit into the expansion box because it is a little bit bigger and it will hold everything.
Yeah, Andrew, it
Good.
sounds like I'm more optimistic than the rest of these guys because I've been thinking about this game ever since Saturday. I'm really looking forward to playing again and trying a completely different strategy.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely looking forward to playing it. I didn't hate the game at all. I just, from that first play, I'm a little underwhelmed by it. I wouldn't really call it trick taking. It's a twist on trick taking. But I'm hoping that the second playthrough, knowing how everything kind of works and flows, that it'll be a little bit better. I've got some different things I want to try, but I'm definitely not anti arcs. It's just as far as all the hype it was getting, we'll see. So
Yeah, that's what it is. Minimum 9. Noah. We always joke if we win,
I
it's an
won this
amazing
game to
game.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are giving it a 6 because you lost.
Nah.
Yeah, the card phase is interesting. Like I said, it
Yeah.
really emphasizes taking initiative because you can't score points without doing that and selecting the ambition or the scoring for the round.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Andrew, I'd be curious about that as well. I would want to try that. Bob,
Well,
do
I
you have
think
something floating in front of your camera?
no, it's the cat scratching herself.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
meow.
That was so weird. All I
You
saw
just see
was
that
her
white
white
paw
part,
going like this.
and I was like, "Do you have a cobweb flowing in front of your
Hmm.
camera?" That's what it looked like to me. That's funny.
Yeah, that's
But
funny.
I am excited to try it again for sure. And we'll see what happens, but that
Yep.
that should be tomorrow.
Yep. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Um, since Andrew's in the chat, this is a good time. Here's another one of my photos. Andrew very politely came bearing gifts and hooked me up with this wonderful bourbon barrel stout here.
Nice.
Hadisha, I would imagine is what that is called. But
Okay.
that was very enjoyable. Very much a dragon's milk type of beer,
Hmm.
barrel aged stouts. I love that kind of beer. So thank you, sir. It was excellent.
Nice.
Let's see. That was Saturday. Oh, Saturday also. That was not the only beer I had that day
Yeah,
because
when did it last?
it was it was Spencer's birthday. And we're sitting there like Spencer's like, "Man, I'm getting hungry." And I'm like, "Well, as the resident fat guy of the group, I could eat." So so I was like, "You deserve a birthday beer, man." And he is also a stout fan as well. So we went out and I bought him a birthday beer. So he actually got the con beer here, which was I know it had some cinnamon in it, which for some people is a little off-putting in the beer. I thought it was
Okay.
pretty good. I thought it was
Okay.
pretty good. I did enjoy that. And then what I've got here was a hazy IPA, Sonic Sasquatch.
So it looks like it says Sasquatch on it.
Yeah, Sonic Sasquatch. I actually double fisted and drink one of each.
Oh,
There we
nice.
go. There's the can. It was called Roll for Initiative, and it's got a cinnamon roll on it. Um,
Nice.
I liked the cinnamon. I like stouts. I like sweet and creaminess in my beers. So I thought it was pretty good. I
Hmm.
enjoyed it. Um, let's see. Do I have anything else from Saturday? I did roll into the Gnome Hollow. That was of course
Oh, the
Friday.
booth. Yeah.
I
Or
rolled
the
into the Gnome
balloon
Hollow
display.
balloon.
Nice.
Yes,
I had
which
my backpack on, so I didn't want to venture in there and pop stuff inadvertently.
I'm with you, Eric. It's always stouts over IPAs, but I really enjoy hazy IPAs. Specifically, that New Belgium Juice Force IPA is my favorite right now. Side note. Uh, so here's the crazy thing about this. You guys walked in and you guys were, and it said no more than 4 people because it was kind of this small little sort of hut that you walk into.
Hmm.
And do I have? There you go. So this is the whole deal, and this was so cool looking. And there were actually at times there were people inside of these like walking around in it, which was so cool looking.
Crazy.
But
Yeah.
the brown thing here is the little hut that you could walk into. And I should have got a picture, but it was the most random occurrence. As I'm walking out of the gnome hut, I see the earth designer. I may butcher his name. It's Maxime Tardif, I believe. He is a French designer. And I ran into him while walking out of the gnome hut. And I'm like, "Hey, you're the earth designer. I love your game." And he was, of course, humbled to hear that. And of course, his game won a Dice Tower award while they were there. So that was cool to run into him.
I don't know how you recognize, like, I mean, like, you meet so many people, and I've been meeting so many more people, and I guess I'm better with faces than I am with names, but like, your ability to just pick people out like that, like, is crazy to me.
I never forget faces.
Hmm.
And being in sales for so long, I had a sales manager teach me a technique a while ago is that if you want to remember somebody's name, you use it at least twice in a conversation, 2 or 3 times in a conversation. If you say someone's name when you first meet them, it sticks. And so that plus my facial recognition, I just don't forget people. But he also is very active on social media. He is constantly posting on Facebook about how, oh, my game won this, and thank you all who voted for my for my
Okay.
game. And so I've just like I recognized him from that. So
Mm.
um yeah, I was kind of surprised that Gemini didn't win more awards too, Dan. I still need to play it.
I think it's really good. I mean, it's an event game, right? You definitely have to plan it out. People got to know what's going on, but I really enjoyed playing it when I got a chance to. So,
Oh yeah, we're getting good beer advice.
ooh,
um Let me see. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that yet because I'm still trying to figure out what pictures are next and if this goes in order. There's arcs. There's Bob flipping me off.
yeah,
Oh, this
checks
was
out.
cool. We got multiple with Ammon. So this was Sunday. Now we're
Hmm.
on to Sunday.
We are.
Um, and like every time you went to the op booth, it was slammed. I mean, everybody, even after
All
they
the
sold
time.
out, it
Yeah,
was full of people demoing the
demoing,
game and
hmm
playing Gnome Hollow. And
meeting admin.
of course, as you guys know, we had Ammon on the show last week. We talked about this game, so we were super excited to run into him, give him a hug, tell him how excited we were that his game was a total hit at Gen Con.
Yep.
Um,
This is
it
just before
really
he was
was.
on his way to go pop the whole display.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should have went over there to watch that. That would have
I
been
was
cool.
gonna suggest it, but we were like queued up for our meeting.
All play.
I'll
Yeah.
play. Yep.
What else is after that? And then,
That's you
since
leaving.
that was me leaving, it's like goodbye, Gen Con.
Mhm.
And since I hadn't been in Indy, since I went ahead and took a picture of a
Oh
banner
yeah.
that shows Caitlin Clark up there. She is
Nice.
Miss Indiana basketball now. So there you go.
Mhm.
I love me some hoops. So there you go. Had to get a picture.
Nice.
Um, that was
Yeah. So Sunday was mostly just goodbyes, right, for
it
us,
was.
saying
Yeah.
goodbye to everybody. Dan and I did do actually two more demos. I think one of them was Saturday that I missed, and that was the demo of Doggerland, right, which is one of the other ones
Mm-hmm.
by Hachette. And I really enjoyed that. It's like 10,000 BC. You're a caveman, and you're like moving out, and you're doing like resource, gathering. You're spending the resources to build like huts for your people, so you're gonna have more workers or doing cave paintings. You can also do like hunting. There'll be big game that spawns on the board, and you move around and try to kill them and collect more resources. But I enjoyed it so much I ended up buying it. So hopefully we'll get that played before too
Nice.
long. Um, yeah, and then the other thing that happened too was that Saturday before we get into Sunday is I was waiting in line for Comic Hunters at the Spin Master Studio, and just random encounters. One of the great things about being there, and I'm talking to this dude from Britain, who's one of like the guys from Steam Forged Games, and he sees me with my copy of Forges that Sam had signed for me, and we're just talking about how like we did some content for them and filled like a how to play and like a reboxing and this and that, and so he's like, come see me at the booth. And so, yeah, we went over there and we talked to him for a while, and we got Dan a copy of Monster Hunter. So hopefully we'll be having a review of that coming soon, as
Mm-hmm.
soon as Dan gets that figured out. But yeah, Dan agreed. Hachette, Scorpion Mask, gold. Like they've been knocking out of the park. Like so many good games coming from them that I'm gonna next convention and they're there, like I'm going there day one, seeing what they have, asking them like
Right.
what's new, because they've been knocking out of the park. So
The French designers are killing it when you include
yep,
Captain Games. And by the
yep.
way, I solved a mystery last night. For those who are still tuning in, I have to tell you, I solved one of the biggest mysteries in the industry. It is not Gigamic, that French publisher that's Gigamic, who published Loot. It's
Mhm.
Gigamic. That is
It's French.
officially how you pronounce it. It is
Yep.
Gigamic.
I'm
Okay,
still gonna say
so
Giga Mike.
nope, I can't. So just so everybody knows, but yes, the French publishers, you got to watch out. They're crushing it, guys.
Mhm.
Um, Andrew, I did not pick up. I actually had Reef Project on my must buy list, and I didn't buy it. I got distracted by other games, so I did not end up picking up any board and dice games.
Mhm.
Yes, I did solve the mystery, and thanks for joining us, Kyle. But yeah, Gigamik. I've heard Gigamike. I've heard Gigamic. I was even joking around that it was probably Gaijamis, and turns out it was none of those
None
things.
of those. None of the above.
That's the French. I do want to go to one of my favorite cosplays that I missed. I don't think I missed this one. Um, so here you go, Bob.
Yes, those guys were great. They were going around they were trying to go around the football stadium, but they were getting stopped every couple of feet for someone wanting to take a photo. But in all fairness, you show up as King Arthur and his trusty squire. You're gonna get stopped for pictures. So that was a fantastic cosplay. The coconuts sounded real. I asked him where he got them. He wasn't sure he found them.
Oh my
Which I thought was
god.
weird. I'm not sure how they got to Mercia, but apparently they're carried by swallows. But yes,
I love it. I freaking love it. Oh, that's
it
so
was
good.
fantastic. Yep.
That's
Him,
so
of course,
good.
kneeling before King Arthur because that's what you do. And Spencer and I were riding along on our trusty steeds next to him.
Oh man.
That was
All right.
fantastic.
I'm just gonna kind of go through your pictures at this point.
Okay, go for it.
We might get some
I'll narrate any
repeats.
of them that need narration. Uh,
Uh,
so this guy, I love this picture. So a
I
lot of
do
you
too.
know that Tim's sister lives in Indy. His brother-in-law owns a law firm, and their law firm is next door to their house, and they allow us to stay there. They're generous enough to let us stay there when we come to Indianapolis for events. And they've got basically free-range cats. So they got cat doors. The cats go in and out. They
Hey
stick around
Brandon.
everywhere. And the cat was in the chair at the conference table. They took his picture, and his wife also works for him, but yet they decided to give the employee of the month to the cat. And I love that photo. It makes me smile every time I walk in there
I
and
do
see it.
too.
Yeah,
It's literally two of them, and the cat is the employee of the month. I love
I
it.
love it. It's
It's
great.
amazing.
Yep,
The first time I saw that, I cracked
yep.
up. Hey Brandon, thanks for tuning in. But
Thanks
yes,
for
you
having me.
literally are at like we're just like, let's go through the pictures we haven't talked about
Mm-hmm.
yet. So good timing. These are Bob's photos. This massive D20
Massive D20. So I
with
took this
holes.
picture and I sent it to a bunch of people that kind of just play a lot of role playing games and whatnot. But I commented with my dice have been effing me for so long. It's my turn to f those dice because otherwise, why are these holes in it? Like I don't understand. It's so weird. But yes, that's what's going on there. I thought it was funny, and I shared that joke with some people.
Good one.
Uh, these are just a bunch of the dice bags. Like that's one of my favorite things. Like I love dice. I love fancy bits, things like that. And so anytime time a game has like a bag mechanism and it just has like a generic kind of looking bag, I like to get bags. And this place had some cool bags that I took a picture of because I thought they were neat.
For sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like good dice bags too. Definitely.
hmm
My first Gen Con, I picked up a Gen Con dice bag. Just something that said I was there, and it's my biggest dice bag.
Come a
So
long way from just a Crown Royal bag, you know.
yeah, you're right. I still got a bunch of those unused.
Yep, yep.
Loot we talked
Loot we did.
about.
There's Spencer.
Spencer,
Yeah, he had a
yes.
little spot in our booth and he sold his book. He did pretty good. That's really awesome. I'm happy for him. I ended
Yeah,
up picking up a copy of the hardcover, and he signed it for me. And he has some hilarious bookmarks too. So
he
if you
did.
haven't checked in our description, there should be a link for Spencer's book. But he said he got one of the best birthday gifts ever. He sold his book on like Thursday. Friday, this person came back in and they loved his lead character, and they were saying it's one of the best books they've ever read. And he's like, "That's the best birthday gift I could have ever
Oh,
gotten."
I
So that
think
was
what it
awesome.
was is that they said the lead character was one of their favorite characters
Yeah.
that they had read about, something like
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
So that was awesome.
compliment.
Yep.
For those of you guys that haven't, Spencer doesn't come on the live shows, but he does all of our studio
Yep.
stuff, and he is just one of the nicest dude. He's a
Yeah.
really great guy.
Yep. Agreed.
And yeah, he's a published author now, so it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. And he's starting on his second book, which I believe is
Yeah.
the actual just sequel to this book. So.
There's Bob's Hall.
Yeah, I might have a bit of a problem. Like, I love the retail therapy. Like, I get it from my mother. I've been doing really good as far as like the not eating out so much and stuff. But then I got to Gen Con, I was like, woo! And if you watched our pre-show, you would know that my one of my top 5 things I love doing is spending money I don't have, and that's what I did. So, yeah, that's my haul right there. And the most I was going to ask this question. But I'll go ahead and tell you my answer now. But my most excited to get to the table is this Axis and Allies Anniversary Edition. I'm so excited for it. I knew it was coming out. I've wanted this, ever since I heard about it. The technologies are back, baby. I read the book. That was the first rule book that I read through after actually I started reading it on the way home in Spencer's car. I was unfortunately not the greatest conversationalist. Dan was sleeping, and I was buried in the rule book and just, because I want to know the nuances. I'm like, what's changed from the version that I play all the time to this version? And there are quite a few. The board is big, but I'm not going to go into it now. But there are a lot of differences. I'll be putting out some videos because, like I said, I'm super excited about this. I've loved Axis Allies for a super long time, and it's like they took the best parts of the original version and the best parts of the newer version, and they've mashed them up. And I can't wait to actually play this game.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, and I have never played Axis and Allies, so Bob is gonna pop my Axis and Allies cherry.
I'll take it as easy as I can. I'll give you a choice of factions, and hopefully I can give you like my old roommate, because he's played a lot of the other versions with me, and maybe the two of you guys, if you put your brains together, you might be able to do something.
I know we're all super excited to check out Veiled Fate.
That is
I've
the
heard
second rule
great things about that game. Yeah,
Yep.
though there's many videos on it, so
Mhm.
that'll certainly help. Devere crushed it. They sold out of Rock Hard 1977. That was one a lot of people talked about.
Yep.
Um,
Nice.
Cities was one a lot of
And
people talked about. That
noted.
one's sold out. Stock Exchange, also another one from the app, looked pretty cool. I actually sat in on an explanation of that one.
So I bought that one because you had talked about it, and then I heard some of the people talking how they had limited quantities of it, and I was like, okay, fine. So I ended up
Yeah.
picking it up.
I mean, the
We'll see.
components are nice, thick, big wooden chips in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, several of these given for review. So, part of
Um,
the haul. It's
part of the
it's
haul,
part
yeah. I
of
mean,
it.
like, so I mean, but I ended up buying most of those other. So Donut Shop,
Right.
I played that with Patrick last Origins, I think it was, but it's like almost like an area control set collection type of thing, and that was super interesting from 25th Century.
Mhm.
And they had a few of the deluxe editions left, so I was like, well, if I'm gonna get it, of course that's the version I'm gonna want to get. They've got a really cool like setup, like the hats I could give or take, but yeah, it was still though it was super interesting little set collector, an area control type of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
Brandon, I've heard this is a very interesting twist on
mhm.
deduction, so I'm very excited to try this.
And so, in speaking of Veiled Fate and IV Studios, though, Dan and I sat down with one of the designer guys for their newer
Brink.
one, Brink. Yes, and the components, everything, it looks super cool. But then I had to ask them because when you look at the actual bits you get, they have different like shapes on them, right? Like some of them have little squares, some of them have little triangles and whatnot. Very easy to distinguish apart, even though they're different colors, technically. But on the board, there was no distinction. Like, I mean, yeah, they were different colors, but like some of the colors were hard to tell. And so I asked him, I was like, so why would you do the bits in this color, but then, in different shapes, and then not translate that to the board? It makes it super tough. He's like, Actually, I'm glad you asked me. And he
Right.
pulls out his phone and he shows me, he's like, we're translating those different shapes and stuff to the board also. So in the actual final version, it's going to have all that. And I was like, fantastic. And so hopefully we'll get a chance to check that out. Yeah, Kyle, that Forges box. I kept seeing it over and over. Like, we've been with if you follow our channel, you know that we've been in with the Forges and the BA games for a long time. And I kept seeing that box. And he said, yeah, you only had a couple of them left. And I was like, okay, fine, I want it. And so I ended up picking it up. And when I got home, I transferred all my stuff into there. And one of the cool things about it, which now I'm gonna have to get the mat because there's a spot for the mat in the box. And so right now I've got it just filled with some bubble wrap
Nice.
to keep stuff in there. But anytime you can fit a play mat in the box, I'm down for the play mat. I hate it when a play mat won't fit in the box because what am I gonna do? Carry another thing? Probably not going to happen. It stays at home. But if it fits in the box, it's going with me. I'll use it. So yeah,
Mhm.
that box is super beautiful. Now, unfortunately, it won't fit like in a shelf space because I was gonna try to get it on one of my like facing shelves up top here, but like it's so big because there's no give. So once you try to sleeve cards and things like that, like it has to be big enough to hold all the stuff. And so whereas the plastic one, you kind of push them in there and make them fit. So, anyways, I have it on a different shelf. It's still like readily available. You know, you can see it, and it's beautiful. Like
And you swiped it from Eric, who got enough stuff for free. So I mean,
yeah, I was like, this dude's had enough. I'm buying this one. He ain't getting it.
and Evan's asking about Doggerland.
So yeah, that was what I talked about a little bit ago. I didn't actually play a whole game, but we did play a couple of rounds in the demo, and it was very interesting to where everybody kind of starts in the middle with your little like triangular like huts, and then you're placing your workers out and around, and you collecting like resources. So depending on like how many images there are of that resource and how many guys you'll collect that many resources. You have like chieftains and shamans let you take like specialty actions, some nice dual layer player boards. And one of the neat things is like, so there's a first player marker and you keep it on the side of your board. Then it tracks the different phases that everybody is going through. And then once you're done, you go to the final phase, you pass that marker to the next person, they put it on their slot one, and then they'll track the different phases on their board as well. But the board kind of like builds and seeds itself out, and like big game will appear. You'll hunt that game, you'll collect the leather and the meat and stuff, and you have to feed your people. And it seemed
Okay.
really interesting, so that's why I ended up picking that
Yeah.
up myself from Hachette.
Nice. Dan sent me a couple more, so I'll snag those.
Okay.
And then, of course, I've got some, but we've already talked about quite a few of mine, and I didn't take nearly as many pictures.
You already go
Um,
through. You went through most of mine already. Oh, nice, Dan.
so there's a squad, and this is behind the scenes. This is our new editor, Mike.
Yeah,
He
you don't see him very
started.
often.
Yep. So Mike has been our editor since about October of last year. If
Mm-hmm.
you've noticed an uptick in the quality of our videos since last year, Mike is why.
Yep.
He has really done a good job
He
with
knows his stuff.
improving the quality of our videos that we
Yep.
record in the studio. And we're very happy to have him. And he joined us for Gen Con. And it was his first time with an exhibitor badge at any con, and it was his first time at Gen Con, so he was just kind of over the
Yep.
moon to be there and follow us around with cameras, which was very cool.
Yep. Yeah, I'm glad he made it. I don't know if you noticed, if you guys have seen my reboxing video. If you own Forges with all the deluxe bits, you might be checking it out. But he was there with the camera, and he's just doing all the behind the scenes stuff, and we did all that in one take. And yeah, I'm glad he's joined our team. He's been definitely a bonus to the team.
He's adding to the bald guy brigade here is what Evan's getting at.
Dude, and his
And
beard
hey,
is glorious. His beard is yeah.
it is. And hey, Arwen, it was great to meet you. And yeah, we actually did sit down and play full games, which was nice. That's not something we do very often. I
Right.
didn't I brought 2 small box games. I don't even bring games to Gen Con anymore. I'm like, if I get something new that I can learn fast enough and play, great, but I'm not bringing things to play anymore.
Well, to be fair, in my defense, like one bag was literally stuff for the Parakeet Griffin night, right? Like the
Oh, sure.
Telestration, the Adventure Party, all those party
We
games,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Green team wins. We knew we had a night dedicated for that, and those games are
Yep.
always going to find a spot, even at Gen Con.
Yep. So
You guys played Landmarks, which I didn't get to try.
yeah, so that was interesting. So they compared it to code names, and I mean, like, I get it. There's words involved. But like, so one of the things, so if you're trying to get somebody to guess a spot that has two clues, right? So it has like book and hobbit right there. So if I had said Frodo, you would have guessed that spot right between them. But I didn't. I said Gimli. So he, instead of going towards what's the one up top, like Taxi, I think that is, or going all the way down to Hobbit, he guessed Gimli, which is kind of like in between those, and that was right. But the problem is like once you start to build a path, and you're trying to get somebody to go a specific direction on that hexagon, there's really no way to delineate, you get down to like a 50-50 at best, without having to give a clue to those two specific, like axe dwarf type of thing. And so definitely need some more plays of it. But it's, I think I still prefer code names just because of the ambiguity
Wow.
that it comes down to like a 50-50 chance of like, okay, so I'm trying to get them to guess something off of axe. As you can see, there's two spots. If it doesn't have to do with axe and Gimli or axe and dwarf, then there's those two spots that it could be either one of those. Who knows? And then so if he puts that tile down, it could be a trap. It could be a curse. It could be something terrible. And if you only have like one tile left, then he has to get it or you lose. And so yeah, we need some more plays. It plays quick. And there are two sides to that map, but like also that map feels like the color is really washed out on it. You know what I mean?
It is. It
Yeah.
very much is.
So and while the colors don't matter, so it's not that big a deal, I guess, but it just looks not great. And if you flip it over, it's got like mountains and rivers and different types of terrain, which again don't matter for the game itself. It's just flavor, but it just looks very faded.
Yeah, I'm with you. Some of these mats are like the idea is cool, but yeah, the coloring on here is just not great.
It
The
reminded me of the Castle of
saturation's a bit
Burgundy,
weak.
right? Where the mat just kind of like it
That
needs more ink.
yeah, yeah. Arwen Veggie Stock was in my hall, and I do love me some Blood on the Clock Tower.
I am not a big Blood on the Clock Tower fan. I've only played
Yeah,
it twice. It didn't really do it for me. Now, Dan was saying we did introduction type of quest or mission or story or whatever, and that might be it because it was a little maybe bland. But I mean,
You
social
don't like
deductions. Yeah, social deduction is like my least favorite genre anyway. So
yeah, I love them. I like to bluff. And yeah, Brandon, that's what you're seeing here. It's
yeah,
pretty washed
that's
out. Those
I
colors are
bought the game there. We opened it, we played it, and that's what you get.
yeah.
So
Oops. Yeah, it's like a folded what do you want to call that? Canvas kind of
correct.
material?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's like I'd call it canvas. Yeah, it's not
yep,
neoprene mat. It's definitely like a piece
right.
of cloth. Yep.
hmm
Gave me vibes like Bloodstone, but the Bloodstone maps look much better.
What else has Dan got in here? Oh yeah, here was the presentation we
Ooh,
got on the charcuterie, which
nice.
again was super cool. Good
Mm-hmm.
call taking that picture there so you can see the full effect.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's got some cosplay. I think that's
Helldiver.
Helldivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
My
I never
favorite, I think I sent it to you, Mike. My favorite cosplay that I saw was the Bloodborne. Did I send those to you? I thought I sent you one at least. Yeah, there's
Here's
Dan taking
also
a picture of me praying to whatever gods that might listen
rolling more blanks.
more, and then I roll more blanks because nobody's
Me
listening.
enjoying the hell out of Bob rolling blanks in the stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yes, those guys. They came up to us while we were at the, I believe it was the captain's chair demo. But those weapons were so cool. Like they actually like moved and whatnot, and they had the gun. And I don't know if you play like Bloodborne, but a lot of it has to do with like the changing of the weapons. And then like, oh, it's just like knife. Oh no, it opens up the handles bigger. It's a bigger weapon now. So yeah, it was those guys really did a good job with their outfits.
Nice. And that looks like Dan's last photo. Wait, yep, Dan's last photo. All right. I guess those that have stuck around this long can sit through my photos. I really, I really didn't take that many, and you've already seen most of them, so I got to kind of pick up where I've left off. Yeah, you've already seen the majority of them, which is kind of wild. Yeah, I don't have much left. So, um, yeah, it's cool having an exhibitor badge. It's It
Yeah.
adds an extra layer to the whole thing. And we
Yep.
have pins. So we're part of the Game Talk Network, gametalknetwork.com. If you did not know,
Yep.
we're a series of
GTN,
channels.
baby.
There's the Magic the Gathering rundown, there's miniatures rundown, and there's RPG rundown, and we're all part of the Game Talk Network. And that is all filmed in the back of a game store here in South Bend, Indiana.
Yep. Support your
So
local game store.
yep. So Game Talk Network, we have pins. So there you go. Come back next year for your 2025 pin. And of course, supporting Mission Control, because that's still one of my favorite things I've done at Gen Con is that
Yeah.
simulator booth at my first Gen Con. I freaking love that experience. And of course, our friends at Parakeet Griffin, who made a super fun party game, and I just like supporting them.
Yep.
And then there's my haul.
Oh, nice.
Again, some review, some I purchased. Again, the Cubitos expansion and Nocturne from the AEG booth. That was my very first stop. Wrath of Fire Mountain is Eric Lang and Phil Walker Harding co-design in a 10 box
Nice.
from Game Right. I just had to try it. It's accessible area control with a dice rolling King of Tokyo action selection. Sure. I mean, for 20, it was 20 bucks. Yeah,
Wow.
why not? Why not? I picked up this Vault Wars because it's an auction game and Miniature Market had it for $5. Okay. Jonathan Gilmore game. Yeah, Blood Rage Jr. That's exactly it. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong comment there, but yeah, I gotta try it. No, I was interested in Sand,
Okay.
but
I
did
haven't heard of it.
not. Yeah, I heard about that one, but didn't pick it up.
Who was that by?
Uh, ah, dang it. I can't remember who published Sand. Somebody's gonna have to help me out there. A Message from the Stars is a very clever looking deduction game from All Play. So I picked up that and I picked up Lure. I'm an outdoorsman and I love to fish. So yeah, I want to find a good fishing game for my collection. Again, I do have that signed copy of Murray the Asshole Frog because why not? Vegetable stock was one going in that I knew I was going to get. Yes, I did get a Third World Studios charcuterie board, which is pretty
Nice.
sweet.
Me too.
Stone Spine Architect. So I will say Thunderworks actually provided this for us to review. And I was actually really excited about this hot sauce that they threw in with
Apparently,
it.
I,
I love me some hot sauce, man.
I'm glad
Um,
you. I'm glad you bought Message from the Stars. That looked super interesting. It definitely looks like a Mike game.
we asked for it from All Play, and Ascadelia said they were out. So I'm like, fine, I'll get it because I knew I was going to get Lure. Um, Cascadito, a new Reiner Kinesio roll and write from Bitewing Games. That is a roll and write version of Cascadero. I have kind of gotten late to the roll and write party, so I'm going to try roll and write instead of the big boy version first. Sonic Roll looks cool. I will say that one was provided for review as well. I
Mhm.
love dice rolling. So yeah, and with a Sonic theme, like nobody's put a Sonic theme on games yet. So I'm very interested in that. Yeah, Eric, freshwater fly is very difficult to get. Goog still brags about how he was able to get one super cheap somewhere recently. I really want to play Freshwater Fly. I've heard great things. I remember following the Kickstarter, didn't back it. Now it's out of print and it's overpriced, and I hate overpaying for stuff. So uh, I really want to get a copy of Freshwater Fly. And I will say one of the things about the lovely state of Michigan is its fishing. Michigan is a beautiful state and it offers many great places to camp and fish. That's why I love that state so much. Um, awesome. Yeah, please bring freshwater fly. I would love to play that game. And I'll probably have lore learned by then. Um, but yeah, I've heard good things about that one recently. Dodo Riding Dinos from Draco Studios. This is actually the main Mexican publisher right now, and I will tell you, I played Dodo's Riding Dinos Dodo Dash, a standalone expansion version, and I loved it. I played it with Wes, so you can imagine the amount of take that was going back and forth between us. I was thoroughly enjoying that one. And so I'm looking forward to trying the base game here too. They do have a more simplified version that's actually on Kickstarter right now, if that's something that's your bag. I love racing games. So racing game where you add a dexterity element and you're flicking things toward other racers makes it feel like Mario Kart. I had a blast with Dodo Returning Dino, so I'm excited to get that to the table too.
You've been talking about that
Um,
a lot, so hopefully it's good.
it is. It's chaotic fun. It is.
What kind of mechanism? I mean, are you rolling dice? Or are you playing cards?
You're playing cards. So your cards are your speed, and cards also have an action on them you can perform. Well, Mike, why would you always just pick your highest card? Well, the problem is that the highest cards have the best actions, or the lowest cards have the best actions. And if both people play they're called red cards, aggressive cards. If more than one person plays their red card, the actions cancel out. So you can't play them all the time. So there's a
Okay.
really clever double think of trying to figure out, oh, if somebody's going to play their red aggressive cards. So I kind of like that mechanic, and the actions are so swingy and chaotic. You just can't take it seriously. The wild swings in this game of people going back and forth.
Okay.
And I again, you'll notice I have
There's
2
two.
fanny packs there
Are they
because as
different
the
shades of
resident.
blue?
Yes, could have got I just love the color blue. If you couldn't tell by the blue felt, this is my game table. I love blue. And so I just got 2 shades of them. Could have got matching. And yes, as the resident fat man, I enjoy my stout beer so much that I can't fit into one fanny pack, so I have 2. And I've been working on my pin collection for a couple years now. So
Impressive.
happy that I had expanded a little bit. I got a gnome hollow. I got this one, you can barely tell. It's a sushi go pen.
Hmm.
And it says don't forget the pudding. I love that one.
Nice.
uh repping the mission control over here. Um this one is from Rebel Princess, which we're actually going to get a copy of here in another week. That's from Bezier, and this is a really clever twist on hearts. I cannot wait to play this one. Grant's Game Wreck pin, of course. So, yeah, I just like collecting the pins. Sansuchi, also from Mayday. That is a reprint of an older Michael Kiesling game, an excellent classic designer, and then of course my copy of the gang over there. So there you go.
I gotta
My
let Winston
haul.
out real quick. I'll be right back.
Do it. Is there anything after that? I got that one. Yeah, now I'm going backwards. So yeah, that was kind of our spot in the booth there. This is before Spencer got set up. He had his banner there and he was selling books, which was pretty cool. I think that's all my photos. Not bad, right, guys? Like I didn't have a ton of them. Oh. Wait, hold on. There are a few more. I'm holding out on you. If you couldn't tell by the I'll go back here. If you couldn't tell by the Fallout kind of keychain here, I am a huge Fallout fan. And Fallout 76 was based in West Virginia, where the Mothman was once supposedly spotted. So I had to get a picture of this Mothman cosplay. I thought that was so cool. But I just gotta say, this person had to be sweating their balls off in that. I mean, that is all black. That is thick fur. Oh my goodness. No, thank you. The commitment people have to sweating their nuts off to look like this for a whole day. I could not do it. That is not the kind of cosplay I would want to do personally. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. When I go on vacation and I go place, I don't typically take that many pictures. Like normal day life, I just don't. But when I go and see people I haven't seen in a while, or I go on vacation, I take a ton of pictures. I want to have memories. These are my memories. This is the stuff that I remember. So, um, yeah, you'll always have your stories, but for the things you don't have stories that you remember, photos, I'll see these again. So yeah, that's commitment, Eric. I mean, it was hot.
Right?
It was hot. Gen
It's a
Con
sweaty
was
endeavor. Although I spied Gandalf in the background too.
yeah, yeah, there were some good cosplays, man. But that was the only one I took a photo of. I'm gonna switch to
Whew.
some Gen Con memes, and then
Nice.
we'll probably wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm ready for bed.
Yep. So, as many of you may have saw, when we went to Origins, Tim couldn't make it, and I decided to make it my job to make memes about Tim not making it to Origins, and people really seem to take a liking to them, and I have fun making them. Memes is one of my love languages. I love memes. They crack me up. So you already saw a couple, but I'll go through all of them. But this was me day 0, Wednesday at work last week. You guys are already there. I'm working, and I'm like brain dead. And here's me disappointed that everybody's in the convention center setting up and I'm working. But now we get to the real memes. When you're actually playing a game with Tim at Gen Con, but you haven't dropped a meme all day. This was actually the first one I posted. Hey Tim, I got a whole bunch of memes, but like Mike, I'm at Gen Con. Why are you posting memes? I'm here. Well, this one was not mine. This was actually Chris Charwood, who was in our chat earlier. He put this one in the Facebook. Not sure if that's Tim at Gen Con or a cosplay of Mr. Clean. That's a
That's
good one right
hilarious.
there.
I love how like the community has like jumped in on the meme making in our like Facebook and Discord and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, good to see you too, Mark. Um, yeah, Bob, you got a copy. You backed City of
I did. I
Marrakesh.
backed yep, and I received it just before we left for Gen Con.
Yep.
Hmm.
I wanted to go and chat with some of the other guys that were at your booth there, but I really only ran into you. And Mark was on Whiskey Wednesday before we did Best Deck Builders, and that was a good show. So check out City of Marrakesh as well. Here you go. So Tim at Gen Con has the higher ground, but I'm still spamming memes, and you're just underestimating my power. And here's Bob's new name for his OnlyFans page.
Secrets out.
I was so ready for this one. No, I actually stole this picture from someone else in the Fans of Gen Con Facebook group and then slapped the meme title on the top. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is it right here. I love this one. When you're not sure if you really just saw Tim at Gen Con. I think I only have a couple more memes. Oh, there we go. And so this one our editor made today or yesterday. Oh boy, I can't wait to make Tim wasn't at Gen Con memes. And of course, Tim slapping me because he was there. And then our old editor. So our very first editor even made a meme. So I love that other people are jumping on this Tim isn't there bandwagon meme. It's great. The more the merrier. If you have one, please feel free to share it in our Facebook group. I love them. And I will tell you, if you weren't here earlier and didn't hear, we have an Instagram. I will be using that Instagram to post more memes.
And make sure you thumbed up. I mean, we're like what, almost 3 hours into this video, but make sure you guys thumbs up the video and before you
I
take
know,
off.
right?
Definitely appeases the algorithm gods.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I really like playing games, designers games with the designer. That's one of my favorite things to do, especially like when, the light bulb clicks and I'm like, "Ooh, this is a really good game." And I get to, tell them, "Hey, you made something that's pretty awesome here." So,
Mm,
we'll eventually play your game and if we enjoy it, we'll shout it from the rooftop. So,
yep,
happy to help support, indie designers all the time.
for sure, absolutely.
So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up our
You have to
Yeah,
say,
a little bit.
yeah, a little bit. Man, there's this game after the Empire. JK,
Um,
JK.
yeah, Tim dropped out because apparently his
Hamster died.
internet hamster was neglected while he was gone. The
So the only game I didn't talk about was there was a demo Dan and I played of Ancient Knowledge with the
Mm,
Heritage expansion, and I was really enjoying what I was doing. He felt like he was underbalanced, but I would definitely like to
mm,
play it again. I'll probably look into seeing what we can do to get a copy of that to try and play a full game of it. But like the premise is you're kind of going through time as far as like progressing through time, and you're putting out these like kind of like wonders and knowledge. They come with these knowledge bits on them, and then you're playing like artifacts and cards to remove that knowledge off them, and then every turn that knowledge is getting older and older, and eventually it falls off the edge of your board, and if there's any knowledge tokens left on that, they're negative points at the end of the game. So you're trying to just do what you can to remember that knowledge and remove those tokens off of your board. But that was super enjoyable. Like I enjoyed what I was doing. Like I said, Dan was like he didn't feel like the cards he had vibed very well. So it'll be interesting to see how some more plays of that, like in a full playthrough, would pan out. So
Oh, I know another one that Tim came back with 25th Century that I'm excited to play is Dracula versus Van Helsing, and
yes,
two it's a two-player
one
trick-taking
v
game,
one, yeah.
but it's asymmetric, and Van
Mhm.
Helsing has totally different win conditions that Dracula does, and it looks very thematic, very clever. So I'm
Same
excited to
artist
try that.
team that did Bloody End. If we're looking at like, man, it looks like the same people, and sure enough, it was.
Has a great
So
look to it for
yep,
sure.
yep.
So
Good night,
yeah,
Andrew.
yeah, that
Thank you
is
for all you did at Gen Con, man. That was fantastic hanging out with you. Good times.
yeah, always a pleasure, Andrew.
Mhm.
It's awesome going to these conventions and it's like a big happy family. It's awesome. It's like I don't know, it's like seeing your it's like a family reunion. It's like these people you really enjoy being with, then you only get to see them a couple times a year, but we make the most of it and it's a blast every time. So yeah, thanks again, Andrew. It was a good time. Um, yeah, so that was our Gen Con 2024.
Yep.
It was awesome. It was so
Yeah.
different from last year. Like last year we
So
had a
different.
booth for the very first time
Hmm.
and we worked the booth the whole time. All we did was
Yeah.
shoot videos. And
Yep.
then this
Uh,
year we made so many connections from last year we were just able to disperse and go to their booths
yep.
because we already knew those people. And we had time to
Definitely the way to
play
go.
games.
Yeah.
It was so nice. It was great.
And I will say it was kind of funny. Sunday we were walking around and we ran into Alex Radcliffe from Board Game
Yeah,
Co.
yeah,
And that's one of
yep,
the very because I don't watch a lot of YouTube board game stuff. I really don't. But his channel
mhm.
is one of the few channels that I do like check out periodically. And he actually said, "Oh yeah, I remember you. You're the guys that had the booth at Gen Con." And so it was kind of that he did remember us, but he was very nice to talk to. So.
Yeah, him and, he was walking around with Meg, who's been doing a lot of collaborating with him lately, so,
Hmm. Correct.
but yeah, that was cool. We ran into them at the, Wise Wizard booth, I remember.
Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah, saw all kinds of people that I, like, know who they are, but, they don't know me. Uh, so, but yeah, the more of these that we do and the bigger our channel gets, the more of those people are, hey, maybe gonna start to know who we are too, so that'll be cool. But thank you everybody that tuned
Yeah.
in. You guys are the reason that we love doing these streams. You guys
Yep.
keep our chat active all night long. You make us laugh. Uh, Incredibly engaging all the time.
Yep.
And
I love our chat.
yes, it's great. If you guys see us around at conventions,
Make
you
yourself
know,
known.
if
Yeah.
you're in Northern Indiana, hit us up. We are always so happy to meet up with people, play games. I've had people come in from out of town and crash at my house. Bob's had people come in from out of town and crash at his house.
Yep,
We literally are the gamer Airbnb.
for sure. Yeah, and if you're like West Coast heading to East Coast, you need a pit stop on the way. Don't pay for a hotel. Reach out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep,
So next thing for us, so I will be at Grand Con. Grand Con is at Labor Day weekend. That is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's only about 2 hours north of us.
gotta grab you.
And I know Eric in the chat will be there. Maybe some other Michigan people, I'm sure, because it's in Central Michigan. Um, so I'm looking forward to that. I've never been to Grand Con, and I'm gonna try to go to more of like these regional conventions. Because why not? It's a blast. And seeing, especially when you see people that that's what makes it worth it. And then, of course, the big one is we're going to be going to QSCon in Syracuse, New York. So you'll see me do hashtag QSCon Road Trip 2024. We're making
Yeah.
our first our first appearance. Don't know why I couldn't think of that word at QSCon, which of course is collaborated and created and organized by Mike Giuliano himself. And so he wanted us to come a while ago. We're all making it happen.
Yep.
But Bob and I are taking a whole week and we're going to go to Toronto first. So it's going to be
You live
pretty
in
sweet.
Toronto, hit us up.
Yeah, if you're in Canada, if you're in Ontario, if you're in Toronto, hit us up. But yes, Brandon will be at QSCon. Nice. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Just to play games. That's all we're gonna do is we're gonna play games the whole time. Uh, so looking forward to that. We'll be there Wednesday night. Um, so it's going to be fun. I can't wait. Bob, anything else?
That was everything on my list. I did have a quick question I wanted to ask you, Mike.
Yeah.
What was your favorite game you played over the weekend?
Ooh, man. Um, just to make sure I don't miss anything.
Checking your BGG or BG
It
set.
was loot. It
Yeah.
was loot. Loot's good, man. I like a lot of different games. I call myself an omni gamer. Everything except like campaigns and CCG is the only thing I'm hesitant to play. Everything
Hmm.
else is fair game for me,
Sure.
from light to heavy. But what I really enjoy in a game is when there's low rules overhead, but lots to think about on your turn. I'm gonna coin a term called CPR, crunch per rule ratio. And loot to me has it in spades. It's really what I enjoy in
Good.
games. I don't want to, I Anachrony is one of my favorite all-time games, so I like
Yep.
heavy games. But when you can teach me the game in less than 10 minutes and I'm agonizing over every turn, it works for me. And loot does that very well.
Yep. Nice.
What about you?
I'd have to say the same. Either that or Chronologic. Those are like of the games I actually played. Those are
Yeah.
my two favorites. I really enjoyed them both. So
Well, hopefully, if we still play Arcs tomorrow as planned, we'll play something else afterwards, assuming there's time.
sure.
So,
And one other quick question is: of the games you have in your haul,
ooh,
which one are you most excited about to get at the table?
oh wow, that's another good question. Well, let me make sure I got to go back to my haul photo. I mean, I figured. No
I'm
surprise
thinking
there.
about it. I'll figure it out. When I figure it out, I'll let you know.
So I already watched a rules video on on Nocturne. I think that's going to be pretty good. I am excited to check out Chronologic because I did enjoy Turing Machine, but it doesn't have a theme. So
Right.
that game's mechanics with a theme is something I definitely want to check out.
Yep.
Um, I think Message from the Stars could be pretty good. I
Yeah.
like
I'm really glad you picked that up. I'm really glad you did. You don't
many
buy
of us
enough
were
games.
no, that's true. I don't. I don't think a lot of my games get played anymore because we're just so fast moving
Amen.
to the next game. It's part of the content creating thing.
Yep.
But it was giving me the crypto vibe, and I
Yep.
loved the crypto. That was the game that put Scorpion Mask and the French publishers on the map for me.
Nice.
So it gives me that vibe, and I hope it lives up to it.
Great. Cool beans.
Yeah, but Stone Spine Architects is the other one.
Okay.
I have really enjoyed every Thunderworks game I've played.
I was gonna say, like in our group, you've championed the Thunderworks stuff for a long time. So yeah, hopefully this
Yeah,
one pans out.
role player is excellent. Cartographers is really good.
Yep.
I wanna see. And this is the same designer as Cartographers, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very excited for that one. So there you go. Gen Con 2024. We were there. We experienced it and we've recapped it. What else there is there to do except play all these games we picked up there?
For sure.
So if you like our content, keep your eyes peeled for our reviews of these games in our haul.
We're gonna try to roll them out like as quick as we can without over flooding everything, including our
Yeah,
editor because he is but one man.
that is true. So it was a blast again. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in for this long. You're all awesome. And again, if you're in the area, hit us up.
Yep,
Gamer Airbnb.
for sure.
All right, guys. So we'll see you next week with another Whiskey Wednesday. Until then, for the board game rundown, I was Mike.
Bob and Tim was here at some point.
He was. And Dan was in the chat all night.
And Dan was in
Good
the
to see you,
chat.
Dan.
Yeah, Dan, nice to have you.
I'll see you tomorrow when we play some Arcs.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you guys.
Good
next
job,
time.
Stonemeyer. A 7.3 repeating heating